Beyond the reach of written record lies a world of shadows and stone where the fingerprints of a forgotten humanity remain etched into the earth. There are structures that rise from the dust, built with a precision that mocks our modern tools, and sunken realms that rest beneath the crushing weight of the deep, cold oceans. We find ourselves haunted by the genius of those who came before peoples who mapped the heavens in the soil and spoke to the stars through monuments of granite. Why were these colossi raised? What vanished language do their crumbling walls speak? Every discovery is a double-edged sword. For every tomb unearthed and every relic found, 1,000 more questions emerge from the dark. We are the inheritors of a silent legacy, wandering through a gallery of ghosts, searching for the truth of who we were before the world began to remember. Lying quietly in the lush Wadi Sir Valley to the west of Amman, Jordan, Qasr al-Abd emerges as a strange ruin, seemingly forgotten by time. The name Palace of the Servant only deepens the veil of mystery covering this monument. Who was that servant? And why would anyone build such a grand stone fortress in such an isolated and wild place? When standing before the ashen limestone walls, one cannot help but wonder what truly happened here. Why would a massive construction, weighing thousands of tons, crafted with exquisite building techniques, never be completed, destined to forever remain a lingering question in the heart of ancient Middle Eastern history? What do you think about the mystery of Qasr al-Abd? What do you believe caused this project to be abandoned halfway? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Based on historical records, Qasr al-Abd is believed to have been commissioned by a powerful member of the Tobiad family, a wealthy Jewish dynasty renowned in the region, around the 2nd century BCE. This person may have been Hyrcanus, an ambitious and powerful figure, mentioned in both Jewish and Greek historical texts. Legend has it that he wished to build a water palace, an unparalleled residence that combined a defensive fortress, luxurious retreat, and spiritual space tied to the power of water and sacred animals. The location of Qasr al-Abd was no coincidence. It sits beside a large artificial lake with a complex system of canals designed to create a unique landscape and serve mysterious rituals. The original plan was to build an unprecedented architectural complex. In the Levant, 2 stories, limestone walls, meters-thick lion and leopard statues with a dense network of corridors and chambers. The colossal stone slabs, some estimated at more than 10 tons, were moved and arranged perfectly without mortar, a feat far beyond the construction standards of that era. It was a symbol of power, ambition, and the illusion of a dynasty striving to leave a mark ahead of its time. Yet visiting Qasr al-Abd today, anyone can easily recognize an unusual reality. Everything seems unfinished. The roof is left open. Many stone blocks lie scattered, never completed. The interiors lack the decorative details typical of religious or royal buildings of that period. Outside, the upper walls reach only the height of the first floor and then abruptly stop, with sections left half-built as if the workers had hurriedly left without even collecting their tools. Many animal carvings are only roughly sketched. Lion statues are broken or never fully finished. The mystery begins here. Why would such a grand project, consuming immense human resources, materials, and wealth, be abandoned? What could have forced ancient people to relinquish their dedication and leave to posterity a heritage as unfinished as an unresolved curse? Many historical theories have been proposed to explain the mystery of why Qasr al-Abd was abandoned. Yet to this day, there has never been a truly satisfactory answer. One theory suggests that with its strategic location and massive scale, Qasr al-Abd once symbolized the ambition of the Tabiyad family to become regional overlords. However, that very ambition also made them a target for rival factions, including the rising power of Hellenization, the Roman forces seeking to expand their influence, and other Jewish families unwilling to lose their own status. In that context, underground conflicts, betrayals, or even assassinations in the shadows may have caused the palace project to come to a sudden halt, especially if the main patron was removed from the political stage. In addition, the Levant region is also famous for its history of violent earthquakes. Archaeological evidence shows that Qasr al-Abd suffered several major earthquakes, causing the limestone blocks to crack and parts of the structure to collapse before it could ever be completed. Some scholars even believe that ancient people viewed this as a bad omen or a punishment from the gods, and therefore forever abandoned the intention to finish this palace. Furthermore, technical and financial difficulties are also mentioned as contributing factors. The enormous limestone blocks and the large-scale transportation and assembly required extremely complex techniques far beyond the common capabilities of that era. The construction team may have encountered unforeseen technological obstacles, financial shortages due to economic turmoil, or unexpected epidemics and disasters, causing the project to be stalled and ultimately never able to continue. Besides scientific theories, local people and ancient legends tell even more thrilling and mysterious stories. Some say the true owner of Qasr al-Abd was assassinated right during the construction, and his spirit still lingers here, not allowing anyone to complete it. Others say this place is a cursed palace, and anyone who tries to continue building will face calamity, family disintegration, and loss of fortune. Though these stories lack historical evidence, they contribute to the mysterious and somber atmosphere surrounding the ruins in the valley. Thousands of years have passed, yet Qasr al-Abd still stands quietly, challenging the curiosity of generations. Tourists, researchers, archaeologists, all are captivated by the wild, resilient beauty of the monument. Each stone slab stacked atop another seems to whisper of a great but unrealized dream, every unfinished wall etched with the regret of the ancients. What is special about Qasr al-Abd is that though never completed, it still demonstrates the builder's technical prowess, architectural vision, and forward-thinking ambition. The water channels, artificial lake, and solid foundation systems remain a puzzle for modern experts. How at that time could they move and arrange tens of thousands of tons of stone with such precision? Researchers tirelessly measure, analyze, and trace every mark on the stone walls to uncover the lost secrets of the ancestors. But the more they investigate, the more they realize that some mysteries will never have a final answer. It can be said that Qasr al-Abd is not just a ruin, but also a question mark from history sent to the present. Sometimes it is the incompleteness, the things left unfinished and unsolved, that generates the strongest attraction. People come here not just to admire construction techniques or satisfy their curiosity about legends, but to feel the loneliness, the incompleteness, and the unyielding ambition of the ancients. Each stone, each unfinished wall, reminds us of the limits of power, ambition, and the fragility of humanity before the fate of history. Even after thousands of years, the mysteries of Qasr al-Abd still inspire new theories. Perhaps somewhere hidden lies another layer of meaning regarding the true role of this structure. Could there be undiscovered secrets beneath the palace's ground, rituals, treasures, or remnants of a lost civilization? Or is Qasr al-Abd simply a reminder that no matter how powerful and talented, humans must still bow to the unpredictable upheavals of fate, nature, and history? Today, Qasr al-Abd remains silent amid the valley, its limestone walls, meters thick, enduring sun rain, and the curious gaze of posterity. People still come here to admire, to listen to the stories yet untold, and to ask themselves, if this structure were completed, would the fate of this land and the whole history of the Middle East have been different? Or is Qasr al-Abd destined to forever stand as living proof of an eternal truth? Some grand dreams will never come true, but that is what makes them immortal in the memory of humankind. Shennongjia, just hearing the name, evokes in the minds of millions of Chinese people and mystery researchers worldwide an emerald green mountainous region filled with countless strange legends and unexplained phenomena. Located in the northwest of Hubei province, China, Shennongjia is not only a famous nature reserve recognized by UNESCO, but is also likened to the Bermuda Triangle of the East. Among countless legends and mysteries here, the most prominent must be the tale of the Yeren wild man, a legendary creature said to be hiding somewhere in the endless dense forests, causing scientists, explorers, and all those passionate about mysteries headaches for decades. What do you think is the greatest mystery of Shennongjia? Do you believe the Yeren wild man truly exists, or is it just a legend? Share your thoughts in the comments below. According to folklore, the name Shennongjia is closely linked to the legendary agricultural deity Shennong, who is believed to have once set foot here traversing forests to collect herbs to save the people, passing down precious agricultural knowledge to future generations. This created a sacred aura around the land, turning Shennongjia into a meeting place of history, legend, and phenomena yet to be explained. However, even more fascinating is the story of Yeren, a creature dubbed the Chinese Bigfoot, or Eastern Wild Man, etched into the memory and haunting generation of local residents, while also being a never-ending research target for scientists, explorers, and mystery hunters worldwide. For hundreds of years, people living on the edges of Shennongjia have passed down stories about a mysterious creature taller than normal humans, covered in black hair, half human, half beast in appearance, moving swiftly and sometimes emitting terrifying growls in the quiet of the night forest. Many eyewitnesses claim to have seen Yeren walking on two legs, leaving gigantic footprints deep in the forest mud, sometimes over 40 centimeters long. Some people who have encountered it at close range describe Yeren's eyes as especially unique, both wild and strangely intelligent, unlike those of ordinary wild animals. Some accounts also claim Yeren can use sticks, even throw rocks for defense or to hunt. The Yeren craze truly exploded from the 1970s, when there was a continuous surge in reports from locals, rangers, loggers, hunters, and even scientists about encounters, strange howls, or the discovery of unusual traces of this mysterious creature in the forest. In particular, in the year 1976, a major expedition of more than 100 scientists, police officers, soldiers, and local people organized an unprecedented search campaign in Shennongjia after a series of reports of large footprints, strange calls, and even clumps of long, unusual hair snagged on bushes. The expedition brought cameras, recording equipment, camera traps, and even prepared food to lure Yeren, but the results were only some footprints, hair and fur samples, not enough scientific evidence to confirm Yeren's existence. Some hair samples were sent for analysis in Beijing, but results showed they did not completely match any known animal, adding more to the mystery and controversy. Over dozens of years, Yeren sightings have still appeared sporadically, sometimes up to dozens of cases per year. Some say that when venturing deep into the forest, they encountered a humanoid figure over 2 meters tall, broad-shouldered, trudging along with a body covered in black or reddish-brown hair. In some cases, ranger teams found large footprints alongside human ones, clearly not belonging to any known local animal. Notably, in the year 1995, a local reported seeing 2 Yerens walking together, even hearing them howl as if communicating. Many witnesses insist this creature is completely different from golden monkeys or other large animals in the Shennongjia forest. Scientists, zoologists, and archaeologists have all joined in the effort to solve this mystery. Some theories suggest Yeren could be an undiscovered giant ape species, a remnant of prehistoric humans such as Gigantopithecus, the gigantic ape species once living in ancient China. Others lean toward the idea that Yeren is simply a variant of bears or exceptionally large golden monkeys, or the product of collective imagination amplified by legends, fear, and the extremely inaccessible primary forests. However, all theories face the same obstacle. No one has ever captured, photographed clearly, or preserved any concrete specimen of Yeren. The blurry photos first samples huge footprints and strange howls still reside on the borderline between legend belief and science. The Yeren story, therefore, has become increasingly famous, attracting international documentary filmmakers and global Bigfoot research teams have repeatedly set foot in Shennongjia to hunt for the Asian wildman. Yet Shennongjia still keeps its secrets, as if Yeren is a part of the ancient forest's soul, appearing only before those who truly believe in the existence of ancient mysteries that modern humans have yet to explain. Not only famous for the mystery of the wild man, Yeren Shennongjia is also a black box of ecology, full of strange phenomena that astonish researchers. This vast primary forest, spanning thousands of square kilometers, is home to hundreds of rare animal species, including the golden snub-nosed monkey, Rhinopithecus, Roxolana-clouded leopard musk deer, Asian black bear, along with more than 3,700 plant species, many of which are endemic to this mountainous region. The unique ecosystem and thick forest cover make exploration and surveying extremely difficult, helping to keep hidden many secrets yet to be revealed. The climate in Shennongjia is also a true mystery. Within just a few kilometers, there can simultaneously be rain fog, strong winds, or even snowfall in the middle of summer. In many cases, localized rain can last for hours, while other places remain dry, or hot springs suddenly erupt, and minor earthquakes occur without obvious cause. Some even believe there are energy vortexes or strange magnetic fields here, disrupting electronic equipment, causing compasses to spin erratically, GPS to lose signal, and even echoes in the forest to have an unusual resonance, sometimes creating a feeling of bent space. Shennongjia is also famous for mysterious disappearance stories. There have been many cases of expedition teams, tourists, or locals getting lost, losing contact for days, and after being found, describing the feeling of entering another world, unable to distinguish directions with time, seeming to slow down, and the landscape changing strangely. Some areas are considered forbidden zones, where just stepping in brings a sense of unease with strange lights or unusual sounds appearing at night. The name Shennongjia comes from the legend of Shennong, one of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors of China, considered the ancestor of agriculture and traditional medicine. According to legend, Shennong entered this forest to collect herbs, tried hundreds of plants, was poisoned many times, and cured himself with special herbs found only in Shennongjia. This further enhances the region's sacred aura, turning Shennongjia into a convergence of reality, legend, and mystery. Today, Shennongjia has become a holy land for botanical and medicinal researchers, with countless precious plants such as ginseng, lingzhi, and traditional medicinal herbs revered and protected by the local people. The streams, mountain peaks, and valleys in the forest are all tied to the mythical stories of Shennong, making anyone who sets foot here feel a strong sense of sacredness, a blend between the real world and legend. Despite decades of research, most of Shennongjia remains an unexplored land, filled with countless caves, crevices, dense primeval forests, and mysterious creatures yet to be discovered. Reports of strange animals, puzzling traces, and unusual natural phenomena continue to appear every year. The mystery of Yeren is not just a legend, but also a symbol of the limits of human understanding when faced with the grandeur of nature. Could there still be a prehistoric human species surviving deep in the forest? Or is Yeren simply a product of imagination and folklore? With the tale of Yeren and many other unexplained phenomena, Shennongjia remains one of the world's most legendary and fascinating regions, fueling human curiosity and the desire for exploration. There are places in the world where, upon arrival, you feel as though you've stepped into a chapter of history, shrouded by time, a place where every block of stone and every carved line raises questions about the strength, intelligence, and faith of ancient people. Mahabalipuram is just such a place. Nestled on the southeastern coast of India, it is not only a heritage site, boasting grand temples, reliefs, and statues, but also a labyrinth of mysteries about construction techniques that even the modern world has yet to decipher. The monuments of Mahabalipuram seem to defy all physical limits, challenging every traditional understanding of ancient materials and tools. Here, massive granite boulders are transformed into living art. Monolithic temples stand resilient through the ages, and every sculpted detail seems to whisper of a knowledge that once soared to unimaginable heights, only to become veiled once more in the mists of untold history. What do you think is the greatest mystery behind Mahabalipuram's incredible monuments? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The first mysterious beauty comes from monolithic rock temples. Most notable is the Pancharathas complex, the 5 chariots of myth, each carved from a single block of granite with unique shapes and architecture, no assembly demonstrating a level of sculpting and cutting skill that borders on impossible for the 7th to 8th century. Today, even with modern technology, moving, cutting, and shaping granite with such high precision remains extremely challenging, let alone doing it over 1,300 years ago. Not to mention, each temple has its own architectural style, from Dravidian towers to exquisitely detailed decorations with no sign of manual assembly, all seamlessly unified as if someone had plucked them straight from a dream into reality. If Pancharathas is the first unsolved puzzle, then the Shore Temple by the sea is a great mystery in both construction technique and resilience to time and nature. Completed around the 8th century, this temple has withstood the harsh storms of the Bay of Bengal tsunamis and relentless saltwater erosion. Yet after more than a millennium, much of the temple remains sturdy with the sharp reliefs, something even modern reinforced concrete structures would struggle to achieve if left exposed to such harsh conditions. Many experts believe that the sole technique of creating a foundation on sandy, moist coastal soil, combined with the careful selection of stone and special structural designs for rapid drainage and optimal load-bearing, demonstrates knowledge far beyond what ancient chronicles suggest. But the greatest mystery regarding construction techniques in Mahabalipuram lies not only in the finished temples, but also in the colossal statues and reliefs. The most prominent work is the outdoor relief Arjuna's Penance, a sculpture over 30 meters long and 7 meters high, covering the rock face with hundreds of mythological figures, animals, and plants, all harmoniously composed and vivid. Astonishingly, this entire relief was carved from a natural rock surface, with no evidence of preparatory work or patching, unlike the assembled pieces technique seen in other civilizations. How did ancient craftsmen calculate every angle, create three-dimensional depth perspective, and balance all details in a single go with almost no room for error? This question humbles both artists and scientists alike. A natural phenomenon that seems simple but defies all laws of physics is Krishna's butterball, a massive hemispherical boulder weighing about 250 tons balanced on a smooth slope for thousands of years without rolling down, despite storms, earthquakes, and repeated human attempts to move it all in vain. Some theories claim this is merely a geological coincidence, but many suggest that ancient artisans knew how to shape the slope surface, select the perfect balance point, and even understood the stone's center of gravity to create this effect, a kind of applied physics, far beyond the thinking of their time. The techniques for cutting, transporting, and assembling stone in Mahabalipuram are also hotly debated. Many monuments are located kilometers from the quarry, with masses reaching hundreds of tons. How could the ancients move such gigantic blocks across complex terrain without wheels or cranes, while preserving the shapes and surfaces so that carving could continue on site without cracks or breakage? Some theories suggest they used levers, rolling logs, bamboo scaffolding, or even water power, but no concrete evidence has yet convincingly explained the scale, precision, and durability of the monolithic blocks found here. Especially noteworthy to modern engineers is the structural layout for load-bearing and disaster resistance. The temple and tower system in Mahabalipuram was built with foundations that are low but wide, with the bottom layers of stone typically larger and stronger than those above, helping to dampen shocks from tsunamis or earthquakes. In addition, the rainwater drainage system was ingeniously designed under the stone foundation, both protecting the monument and keeping the foundation moisture stable, something only recently applied in modern constructions in the last few decades. Anti-erosion and relief protection technology is also a point that makes Mahabalipuram mysterious. Despite centuries of exposure to sea winds, intense sun, and natural acid rain, most reliefs and stone statues remain sharp, barely worn down. Some material analyses have shown traces of natural oils or mysterious organic compounds on the rock surface, perhaps applied by the ancients as a primitive waterproofing layer. Yet it proves more effective than many modern chemical coatings. There is also an unsolved mystery about the submerged city. According to legend and some ancient records, Mahabalipuram once had 7 temples stretching along the coast, but 6 were swallowed by the sea. After the historic tsunami of 2004, many stone structures surfaced underwater near Mahabalipuram, resembling the layouts of the temples still standing on land. Indian and international archaeologists have dived and found traces of stone foundations, reliefs, and walls at depths from 2 to 6 meters. This suggests that the construction and planning techniques of Mahabalipuram might have far surpassed what we know. They may have once planned, built, and protected structures against the ocean and disasters, possibly applying unknown technologies for hydraulics, erosion-resistant foundations, and marine durable materials. Additionally, the architectural style of Mahabalipuram is remarkably diverse, from traditional Dravidian temples to linga-shaped towers, mandapas caves, animal carvings, and mythological scenes blended with reality. Notably, many sculptural techniques for three-dimensional effects, perspective, and light shadow play common in Renaissance Europe are clearly present in Mahabalipuram's reliefs nearly 1,000 years earlier. This sophistication proves that ancient artisans were not merely manual workers, but masters of geometry, physics, aesthetics, and material science. Archaeologically, many major mysteries remain unsolved. Some architectural details at Mahabalipuram do not resemble any other structures of the Pallava dynasty, often regarded as the site's owners. Some researchers suspect that prior to this dynasty, there existed a civilization or group of special artisans capable of adopting or inventing such advanced techniques. However, so far, there are no texts, inscriptions, or archaeological evidence that can clarify the true origin of this construction knowledge. In terms of material, recent analyses reveal that Mahabalipuram granite is extremely hard, yet it can be sculpted into the finest lines. Perhaps besides skill, ancient artisans also possess secrets for softening or heating the rock surface before working, or used some now lost special alloy tools. All these factors make Mahabalipuram not only a unique architectural and artistic heritage site, but also an open problem that challenges modern engineering, physics, archaeology, and material science. The existence of such timeless monuments gives humanity a new perspective on ancient capabilities, raising the question, is human technical history truly linear as we think, or have there been unimaginable peaks that vanished with time and disaster? Today, Mahabalipuram continues to inspire millions of visitors, researchers, engineers, and artists around the world. From any perspective, all are amazed and awed by the creativity, technique, and determination of the ancients who created this timeless wonder. The secrets of construction, the sunken city, and the art of material preservation still await discovery. Perhaps Mahabalipuram will forever serve as a reminder that much of our past remains beyond modern science, and these heritages are the bridges inspiring us to dream of new heights in the future. If you set foot on the Caribbean coast on a misty morning where the waves crash against towering cliffs, you will come across an ancient city perched on the edge of an abyss, where the white stone ruins of Tulum quietly gaze out over the deep blue sea. It is no coincidence that the ancestors of the Maya chose this perilous spot to build a city so different from any other they ever constructed. At the boundary between land and sea, between reality and legend, Tulum stands like a great unanswered question, spanning the centuries. Why was this city born atop the cliffs? Was it a fortress for sea chieftains, a sacred ceremonial center, or a cosmic observatory for ancient astronomers? Every stone, every gate, every mural here hides strange clues to a purpose that to this day no one can say for certain. What do you think was the true purpose of Tulum? Was it a fortress, a spiritual center, or something even more mysterious? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Delving into each structure in Tulum, one encounters El Castillo, a massive tower resembling both a fortress and an observatory. Some scholars even suggest that El Castillo once functioned as an ancient lighthouse thanks to its special windows facing the sea, allowing the Maya to light fires, guiding ships through the dark. This suggests that Tulum could have been the region's most important trading port. However, other structures like the Temple of the Frescoes are filled with religious murals, depictions of deities, and intricate astronomical symbols showing that ceremonial roles and weather forecasting were equally significant. The temples are all built aligned with astronomical events, such as the sunrise during the winter or summer solstice. Thus, the question of Tulum's true purpose only grows more complex, because every piece of architecture hints at a different function, blending defense, commerce, astronomy, and faith into one. Tulum is one of the very few coastal Maya cities that still retains its sturdy walls, except for the side facing the sea. These thick walls include 4 gates, each narrow and curved to better control who enters or leaves. Some researchers believe Tulum's walls clearly express a military function, helping protect the city from sudden attacks from land. However, others emphasize that the walls represent a sacred boundary, separating religious space from the everyday world and guarding the purity of rituals. Interestingly, archaeology has not uncovered evidence of any large-scale battles at Tulum, a point against the purely defensive hypothesis. So, are Tulum's walls military shields, or are they sacred thresholds guiding people into the holy realm of the sea gods? It is impossible to deny the importance of astronomy in Tulum's overall design. All the main structures are aligned with the movement of the sun, especially events like sunrise during the winter and summer solstices. This has led many scholars to believe Tulum is a unique coastal astronomical observatory where Maya priests predicted the seasons, forecasted the weather, and conducted ceremonies for the community's well-being. Images of deities associated with the sun, water, and wind appear densely throughout the murals, further strengthening this role. Yet once again, no one can be certain whether astronomy was the heart of Tulum or merely a small part of a much more complex web of rituals and social life here. Another captivating aspect of Tulum is its colorful murals and mysterious Maya symbols spread across temples and walls. Despite centuries of exposure to sea winds, many paintings retain vibrant colors, depicting strange deities, peculiar sea creatures, and rituals that are hard to explain. Quite a few murals and glyphs still cannot be fully interpreted. They may represent myths, prophecies, or secret ritual instructions. These symbols not only help researchers better understand the Maya worldview, but also challenge the imagination of modern humanity. Does Tulum conceal the final secrets of religion, science, or the fate of a lost civilization? Excavations show that Tulum was once a vibrant city, with many roads connecting it to the Yucatan interior and even faraway regions. Stone tools, pottery, and jewelry of foreign origin found here confirm Tulum's status as a strategic gateway for trade. There is even evidence of ancient docks and paths designated for carts transporting goods. Yet alongside this commercial activity, Tulum abounds in elements of religion, astronomy, and outstanding art. The simultaneous existence of worldly and spiritual aspects leads people to wonder, was Tulum merely a port city, or also a secluded retreat for priests, a center for predicting the future, and a gateway connecting visible and invisible worlds? The greatest mystery of Tulum is that its main function remains unclear. There are 5 major hypotheses often discussed. First, Tulum could have been a military fortress used to control maritime trade routes and defend against enemies. However, the absence of battle traces weakens this theory. Second, physical evidence of trade, foreign goods, and a prime location indicate Tulum was the economic gateway of the Maya. But if it was just a port, why were there so many temples and rituals? Third, many favor the religious theory, considering Tulum a coastal ceremonial center for performing rituals connected to the sea, the sun, and cycles of the cosmos. Fourth, some scholars emphasize Tulum's role as a giant astronomical observatory for predicting agriculture, seafaring, and natural events. Finally, with its mixed architectural styles and diverse symbols, Tulum may have been a point of cultural intersection and blending for all of Central America. However, all of these remain just hypotheses. No evidence has closed the case with a definitive answer. If the construction of Tulum is a mystery, then its downfall is even more controversial. Unlike other Maya cities destroyed by war, famine, or plague, Tulum seems to have been abandoned quietly with no trace of major disaster. Spanish records say that when they arrived, Tulum was still intact, its buildings undamaged, personal items still in their places. So what caused an entire bustling city to be forgotten in such a short time? It could have been a shift in beliefs, the rerouting of trade, or a historical event never recorded. Up to now, this disappearance remains a perplexing puzzle in ancient Maya history. More than half a millennium has passed, yet Tulum continues to baffle archaeologists and historians. Every aspect of this city, from its location, walls, and architecture to its murals and sudden abandonment, raises profound questions. Rather than serving just one purpose, perhaps, Tulum is the convergence of many functions: a defensive fortress, an astronomical observatory, a religious center, a trading hub, and a crossroads of cultural streams. This blending gives Tulum its unique allure and enduring mystery. Maybe the fact that its true purpose cannot be determined is the deepest message the Maya left for future generations, that history never has only one answer, and every great civilization holds secrets that only time or humanity's unending curiosity can gradually reveal. There are ancient structures that do more than awe us. With their sheer scale and beauty, they leave the modern world perplexed, haunted by mysteries never truly solved. In the sun-baked lands of Khuzestan, deep within the deserts of southwestern Iran, lies a monumental hydraulic system where every stone and every channel seems to carry a message from a distant past, the Shushtar hydraulic system. More than just a simple dam, more than proof of ancient water management, this is a technological labyrinth that far surpasses the standards of its time, a place where questions about its origins, construction techniques, and the imprint of lost civilizations remain unanswered to this day. Across thousands of years, Shushtar has not only sustained a fertile land, but also kept alive humanity's curiosity and relentless drive to uncover the secrets of our own history. What do you think is the greatest mystery behind the Shushtar hydraulic system? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Overall, the Shushtar hydraulic system consists of a series of interwoven structures: dams, canals, flour mills, stone bridges, underground sewers, reservoirs, and mysterious technical chambers. Together, these form a complete water regulation network, serving both the urban center and the vast agricultural plains. This system enabled control and distribution of the Karan River's flow, not only for irrigation, but also for flood prevention, food production, and the daily needs of tens of thousands of residents for centuries. Strikingly, many large stone components have remained almost intact after more than 2 millennia, despite continuous exposure to water weather and even war. One of the greatest enduring mysteries left to posterity by the Shushtar hydraulic system is its construction technology, which was far ahead of its time. So much so that even modern engineers must admit there are still many aspects they cannot fully explain. Major dams like Bandi Qasr and the main canals were all built from massive stone blocks, each weighing several tons, cut with astonishing precision and joined together without mortar, creating seams that are nearly invisible. Remarkably, many sections of this system lie deep underground, interspersed with technical chambers and complex underground culverts, and the organizational methods used for construction, transporting materials under such challenging conditions without the benefit of modern machinery, remain an unanswered question to this day. It is not only the sheer size of the stones that stuns us, but also their placement in hidden corners, in locations that are difficult to access, raising theories about labor organization and geological knowledge that far surpass what we previously believed ancient peoples possessed. Some suggest they may have used huge pulleys, rollers, or even massive labor forces, yet archaeological evidence reveals many underground rooms and conduits located in extremely treacherous spots, demanding even more creative solutions. Beyond this, the durability of these structures also astonishes scientists. Many sections of dams and canals still efficiently channel water after millennia with no major signs of leakage. The stone composition, joining techniques, and even the materials used to fill gaps cannot be perfectly reproduced, with modern technology fueling suspicions about the use of special additives or long-lost technical secrets. Furthermore, the flour mills within the Shushtar system operated entirely on water power, employing wooden wheels designed and positioned to maximize water pressure. Notably, some mills featured 3 separate tiers of water flow, allowing energy to be harnessed multiple times, a design that surpasses the hydraulic engineering of ancient Europe. The true origin of the Shushtar hydraulic system remains an enigmatic labyrinth that no one has fully unraveled, for every historical trace related to it is fragmented, ambiguous, and at times even sharply contradictory. Many scholars believe the system was created during the Achaemenid era, under the reign of King Darius the Great in the 5th century BCE, when the Persian Empire was experiencing its golden age of construction technology. Yet many of its main structures bear the distinct architectural and technical hallmarks of the Sassanid period, which stretched from the 3rd to the 7th century CE. Notably, certain parts of the system also show evidence of renovation or expansion during the Parthian era and even the earliest Islamic period, suggesting this was a project that was continuously completed and modified over many centuries. Archaeologists have discovered multiple architectural layers built atop one another, each with its own unique characteristics in materials, site preparation, and construction techniques. This not only challenges the idea that the system was the achievement of a single dynasty, but also raises further questions. Who created the original master plan? Was there an anonymous architect? Or is this truly a legacy handed down through generations, with each era contributing to its greatness? Iranian folklore makes the origins of Shushtar even more mysterious by telling of how after the Roman Emperor Valerian was captured by King Shapur I, Roman engineers were forced to build the Bande Qasr Dam as a symbol of power. However, archaeological evidence of any real Roman involvement is rather scant, mostly limited to minor details or certain similarities in construction methods, not enough to confirm a decisive role. Most researchers today agree that the dam and canal technology at Shushtar has its roots in indigenous Iranian traditions, gradually perfected over time, and possibly incorporating a few elements from the West, but not fundamentally shaped by the Romans. Particularly remarkable is that so many of these structures lack any inscribed names, symbols, or marks identifying their designer or builders. This absolute silence seems to suggest that the true master builders deliberately chose to remain anonymous, perhaps to honor the collective, or for reasons deeper than we can yet comprehend. Adding to the allure of the Shushtar hydraulic system are the still unexplored underground rooms, sewers, and stone chambers. Many chambers lie deep beneath the surface, linking dams to canals or functioning as flow control and water storage. Yet there are sealed chambers whose original purposes are unknown. Were they technical rooms, storage reservoirs, or even shelters or secret religious spaces? Recent surveys have found underground tunnels connecting this system to key positions in the ancient city, hinting at the integration of water management, military, and daily life far beyond any urban standard of the ancient world. The emergence of the Shushtar hydraulic system not only transformed the ecological landscape of the entire region, but also created long-lasting consequences that continue to spark debate among modern researchers. Before this system was built, the land surrounding the city of Shushtar was mostly semi-desert arid barren, and with agriculture dependent solely on seasonal rains, making it highly vulnerable to prolonged droughts. Once the Shushtar hydraulic system became operational, the flow of the Karon River was actively regulated, and water was distributed to every field, turning a vast area into one of the most fertile agricultural centers in all of ancient Mesopotamia. Some scientists even argue that such large-scale water control and distribution fundamentally changed the region's hydrographic map, contributing to climatic shifts like increased humidity, altered rainfall patterns, and possibly affecting the natural ecosystem for centuries. Beyond its environmental impact, the arrival of this hydraulic system also brought about dramatic social changes. Thanks to a stable water supply, people from various places flocked to settle, clustering around the hydraulic works and forming dense, prosperous communities. Gradually, a model water city emerged with urban architecture revolving around canals, flour mills, and dams, something exceedingly rare among contemporary civilizations. It was this fusion of advanced water management technology and flexible social organization that elevated Shushtar to become a leading center of sustainable development in ancient history, leaving a profound mark on the relationship between humanity and nature, a subject that continues to captivate scientists today. Even today, despite modern science's ability to measure and survey every detail, the full story of how the Shushtar hydraulic system was built, organized, and who truly created it still has no satisfactory answer. Each stone layer, every underground sewer, seems to challenge our generation to find answers to the secrets of the past. The Shushtar hydraulic system is one of the clearest proofs of the creativity, organization, and advanced thinking of ancient people. Yet behind its grand exterior are countless technical and origin mysteries still unresolved, from construction technology and labor organization to the true creators and final purpose of each underground room and stone chamber deep within the system. It may be a very long time, or perhaps never before, modern humanity fully solves the mysteries left at Shushtar by the nameless masters of ancient engineering. Standing tall beside the Mehrgarh River in eastern Georgia, Uplistsikhe is not only one of the largest ancient rock-cut cities in the Caucasus region, but also a vivid symbol of the prehistoric humans' extraordinary creativity and intelligence. This site was once a political, religious, and economic center for thousands of years, acting as a crossroads for many different cultures. Uplistsikhe was built from the first millennium BCE, experienced a period of great prosperity, and was once the largest cave city in Georgia, serving as a natural fortress and a central power base of the ancient kingdom of Iberia. Yet what sets Uplistsikhe far beyond ordinary imagination is not its location or history, but the mysterious construction and stone carving techniques practiced by ancient artisans, a mystery that continues to baffle archaeologists, modern engineers, and enthusiasts of ancient history alike. In your opinion, what techniques did the ancient builders of Uplistsikhe use to cut and shape stone with such precision without modern tools? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The entire Uplistsikhe complex stretches over an area of about 40,000 square meters, with more than 700 caves and chambers, both large and small, carved deep and intricately into the pale yellow sandstone cliffs. From a distance, the place resembles a giant ant nest or a complicated underground maze, where every corridor, large hall, temple, storage room, wine cellar, even theater and dungeon are designed as a continuous whole without the use of mortar or typical building materials. The sheer scale of this work alone raises a profound question. How did people with only primitive tools thousands of years ago manage to cut and shape hard sandstone with such precision without the support of modern machinery? The large rooms with natural domed roofs, vaulted stone ceilings, and both round and square stone columns not only ensure structural stability, but also create a marvelous resonance within the space, reminding one of the architectural techniques found only in other monumental stone sites like Petra Cappadocia or Ajanta Ellora. However, Uplistsikhe predates many of these sites by centuries and bears its own unique stamp of the ancient Caucasus. The construction and stone carving techniques at Uplistsikhe are regarded as mysterious for many reasons. First is the remarkable uniformity in its architecture. Most rooms have walls, ceilings, and floors cut at right angles, perfectly smooth with sharp corners, as if crafted by modern tools with absolute precision. Some areas feature carved wave motifs, sawtooth patterns, complex vaults, built-in ventilation holes, water channels, and rainwater systems, all ingeniously connected within the mountain without compromising structural integrity. This requires deep knowledge of geology, mechanical engineering, and even mathematics to calculate the mass load-bearing capacity of stone, as well as the transmission of sound and light within enclosed spaces. Some of the largest halls can hold up to several hundred people, with naturally hollowed domes that show no signs of collapse or cracking after thousands of years, far surpassing the durability and longevity of brick and mortar buildings from the same era. Another mystery lies in how the ancients made the cut grooves and carved motifs on the stone surfaces. Many walls feature deep, straight grooves. Stairways, spiral staircases cut from a single block, running through various levels, window openings, and arched gateways, all harmoniously and precisely proportioned down to the smallest detail. In some locations, there are perfectly round stone columns, gracefully curved moldings, smooth stairways, altars, and stone tables shaped in circles or squares, with abstract patterns all sculpted directly from a single block of stone with no joints and not a single visible crack. Some theories suggest that ancient people used tools made of copper or red-hot iron to carve the stone, or exploited the thermal expansion of water and fire to crack the rock before refining it by hand. However, no concrete material evidence of such tools has ever been found on site, which only deepens the enigma of their techniques. The long-cut staircases, spanning dozens of meters and vast stone domes, would have required the coordination of hundreds of workers with highly accurate technical processes and management, not to mention the need to solve safety ventilation, lighting, and water drainage issues while working inside the mountain. Another factor that makes Uplistsikhe's construction so mysterious is its seamless integration between architecture and nature. The rooms and caves are not only carved with geometric precision, but also take maximum advantage of the natural terrain, forming corridors, plazas, and natural viewing platforms overlooking the valley and the river below. Some chambers feature windows or skylights to admit natural light inside, saving energy and creating enchanting effects at particular times of day, such as sunrise or sunset. In addition, an underground water system, aqueducts, and rainwater tanks are carved in a continuous flow through layers of stone, ensuring a steady supply of domestic water fire prevention and humidity for the entire complex, something that even many modern cities must admire. Moreover, many architectural details in Uplistsikhe reflect a profound understanding of acoustics and the ritual science of feng shui among the ancients. Some large chambers are designed with domed ceilings and alcoves that amplify sound, allowing rituals or performances to resonate throughout the space without the need for amplification systems. This explains why many scholars believe the site once served as a major religious center where sacrificial rites and sun worship ceremonies were conducted to honor deities of nature. Some rooms also feature stone altars, offering tables and sacrificial blood channels, all exquisitely carved into solid rock, bearing witness to masterful stone carving techniques far ahead of their time. Many modern archaeologists have admitted that even with laser measurement devices and modern machinery, recreating the cutting, hollowing, and stone shaping techniques seen at Uplistsikhe remains a daunting challenge. Some theories suggest that ancient people possess lost technologies methods that allowed them to work stone much more easily than any of the known tools found at the site. Some even propose extraterrestrial technology or assistance from highly developed prehistoric civilizations, though no concrete evidence exists to support these ideas. Nevertheless, the mystery of how the ancients selected sites, determined orientations, divided proportions, and executed such complex technical operations on the mountain millennia ago remains one of the most alluring enigmas of Uplistsikhe. In addition to its enigmatic construction, Uplistsikhe also stands out for its artistic carvings on stone surfaces, water wave motifs. Wolves, deer, suns, abstract geometry, and more can be seen on altars, columns, and walls, showcasing the extraordinary craftsmanship and creativity of ancient artisans. Some details even bear marks of Greek, Roman, or Persian cultural influence, proving a rich process of cultural exchange, and at the same time suggesting that construction and carving techniques may have been inherited or borrowed from neighboring civilizations. It is hard to imagine that thousands of years ago, in such a rugged, mountainous region, humans could have transformed a sandstone cliff into an underground city with full functionality, grand scale, and such advanced construction techniques, especially considering the absence of mechanical tools, electricity, and modern materials. This is precisely why Uplistsikhe is not only a Georgian heritage site, but also a global mystery, challenging all explanations from science to spirituality, from archaeology to folklore. Today, despite the impacts of time and natural disasters, the ruins of Uplistsikhe still amaze and intrigue everyone. Many questions remain unanswered. How did ancient people transform hard stone into vast rooms, corridors, round columns, and domes without any supporting materials? Are there still secrets hidden within Uplistsikhe, waiting to be discovered. These very mysteries create the enduring allure of this ancient rock city and its enigmatic construction techniques far beyond our imagination. There are places where history seems to stand still, and every definition of human limitation is pushed to the extreme. Uplistsikhe is one such place. On the barren, rocky lands of Georgia, amid the wild nature of the Mehrgarh Valley, lies an ancient city carved deep into the heart of the mountain, where every corridor, every room, and every stone holds a story that goes beyond the imagination of later generations. No written record is enough to explain why or how those ancient inhabitants could create such a magnificent labyrinth with techniques that still astonish the world to this very day. Uplistsikhe is not just a witness of time. It is also a great challenge to all modern understanding of construction techniques and the timeless, creative power of humanity. What do you think was the real secret behind Uplistsikhe's incredible construction? Share your thoughts in the comments below. From the very first glance, Uplistsikhe astounds any visitor with the scale and complexity of this city. Unlike typical cities, built by stacking bricks and stones, Uplistsikhe was carved entirely into the heart of sandstone mountains, stretching across an area of nearly 40,000 square meters. The ancients gave birth to hundreds of large and small rooms, winding corridors, storerooms, churches, wine cellars, even community living spaces and underground passageways, all tightly linked into a complicated maze-like system with no trace of modern tools. What surprises archaeologists, engineers, and modern visitors the most is how ancient people created a city of stone, using techniques that went beyond the imagination of their time. With no machinery, no modern technology, they transformed a solid sandstone massif into a labyrinthine architectural wonder with multiple layers, rooms, and intricate pathways. Large stone blocks, some weighing up to several dozen tons, were sculpted with such precision that the joints fit tightly without any sign of binding mortar. Stone columns, arches, and stairways were all exquisitely carved, demonstrating the masterful skills of the craftsmen of old. Particularly, the ventilation and water supply system in Uplistsikhe is considered a marvel. Deep inside the mountain, water channels and drainage ditches were intelligently arranged to ensure the daily life of thousands of residents over many centuries, even during droughts or when the city was under siege. Storage pits and wells, some several dozen meters deep, were bored into the rock. Water trenches ran around the living rooms, proving that the ancients possessed a thorough understanding of hydraulics and geology and could make the most of the area's underground and natural water sources. Another mysterious point lies in the ventilation design. Many rooms deep within the mountain still maintain ideal ventilation and humidity, regardless of the hot or cold weather outside. Secret ventilation pipes have been discovered, natural cracks that were widened or cleverly connected to the interior rooms, ensuring a continuous airflow without the need for any modern equipment. There are many debates surrounding what tools were used to carve Uplistsikhe. Chisel marks on the stones show almost industrial precision, with smooth, flat surfaces, regular curves, and even some steps that are beveled and rounded at the edges. Meanwhile, archaeological research has not found many traces of large-scale iron or bronze tools here. Some theories suggest that stone and wooden tools were used, or that a technique combining heating and cooling was employed to split rocks, but all of these remain speculation with no definitive proof. In fact, some details in Uplistsikhe's architecture go far beyond what neighboring civilizations of the same era could achieve. The technique of constructing large stone pillars without cracks, arches resting on solid stone columns, anti-vibration systems during earthquakes, all raise the question, Did the inhabitants here possess advanced technical knowledge ahead of their time, or could they have inherited knowledge from an even older civilization that humanity has yet to discover? Apart from stone carving techniques, Uplistsikhe also stands out with its unique defensive design, allowing the city to withstand many invasions. Its high position allows control over the entire Mehrgarh River valley below, with all entrances narrow, winding easy to control and defend. Some corridors are designed as traps, with slopes-tight corners or large stone slabs that could be rolled down to stop intruders. Researchers also believe there are secret tunnels leading out of the mountain, helping people escape or resupply during sieges, but to this day, these have not been fully surveyed due to centuries of landslides. In Uplistsikhe, besides normal living rooms, there are many rooms with strange designs and functions. There are vast spaces like ancient theaters, where rituals or community gatherings may have taken place, small rooms connected by narrow passageways, some deep pits with no windows, yet always maintaining stable temperatures year-round. Many rooms show no sign of everyday use with no artifacts or traces of fire, raising the question among archaeologists. Perhaps these were used for religious purposes, mysterious rituals, or as vaults to keep the most important secrets of this ancient community. Through history, Uplistsikhe was once a major religious and political center, playing a key role before Christianity arrived in Georgia. Many structures reflect a mix of ancient pagan beliefs with Byzantine architectural elements and Persian Greek influences. On the rock walls, sometimes strange symbols, motifs, and ancient undeciphered scripts remain, adding even more mystery to the entire city. Over thousands of years, Uplistsikhe has endured numerous earthquakes, invasions, and the harsh natural environment of the Caucasus. Many parts of the city have collapsed, been buried under debris, or eroded away, leaving some areas unexcavated. Archaeologists believe there are still many layers and secret spaces beneath the bedrock, hiding artifacts, relics, and even rooms that no one in modern times has ever set foot in. Each archaeological season, Uplistsikhe reveals a bit more about its secrets, from pottery shards, tools, to puzzling carved symbols. Uplistsikhe is not only the embodiment of advanced construction techniques, but also the cradle of many folk legends and mythical beliefs among Georgians. The ancients believed this was the fortress of the gods, a place for mysterious ceremonies, sacrifices, and a gateway between the mortal world and the divine. Stories of buried treasure tunnels to other realms or shadows of ancient witches and kings are still passed down to this day, becoming an inseparable part of Georgian cultural identity. Today, Uplistsikhe has been recognized by UNESCO and international organizations as a World Heritage Site, becoming a must-visit destination for those passionate about archaeology, history, and unraveling humanity's mysteries. However, preserving the city faces major challenges: harsh weather erosion, uncontrolled tourism, and the risk of secrets being disturbed before they are scientifically excavated and studied. Though thousands of years have passed, the mysteries of construction techniques, true purposes, and the lives of ancient Uplistsikhe's inhabitants continue to challenge generations of scientists. Perhaps this city of stone is the enduring message the ancients left for posterity, that in any circumstance, human creativity and the desire to overcome limits are things that can never be erased by time. Uplistsikhe will forever be one of the most mysterious, grand, and captivating legacies of the ancient Caucasus civilization. Lying alongside the legendary Nile River in the sun-baked land of Upper Egypt, Kom Ombo stands not only as a famous archaeological site, but also as a vivid symbol of the unsolved mysteries of ancient civilization. Unlike most other religious monuments, Kom Ombo overwhelms visitors with its unique two-in-one twin design and a wealth of phenomena that no one has fully explained, spanning architecture, religion, and relics, revealing medical skills that even today seem beyond the imagination of modern humanity. What do you think about the medical instrument mystery at Kom Ombo? Is it proof of an advanced ancient medicine or simply a profound religious symbol? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Upon passing through the main gate of Kom Ombo, everyone can sense an atmosphere both sacred and curiously unfamiliar. The temple was constructed during the Ptolemaic era, around the 2nd century BCE, atop an even older temple from the time of the pharaohs. But its most remarkable feature is the entire structure, from gates, corridors, sanctuaries, and stone columns to the reliefs, is perfectly divided into two symmetrical halves. On the left is the domain of Sobek, the crocodile-headed deity representing water, natural power, and the destructive force of the Nile. On the right is the territory of Horus the Elder, the falcon-headed god linked with light, protection, order, and renewal. While many Egyptian temples worship multiple deities together, Kom Ombo creates two parallel spaces for worship, each with its own entrance sanctuary, set of reliefs and statues. There are even two main entrances for two different religious factions. This design infuses Kom Ombo with a complex spiritual undertone and metaphor, as if to affirm that the universe is driven by opposing pairs, light and darkness, protection and destruction, life and death, medicine and illness. For modern scholars, the decision to build such a twin temple raises many questions. Did the ancient Egyptians have a profound dualistic mindset and value balance to this extent? Or are there secret messages here that future generations have yet to decipher? Kom Ombo sits right on the banks of the Nile, a place battered by floods, erosion, and earthquakes for thousands of years. Yet its massive stone blocks, columns, and walls remain standing proudly against the passage of time. Modern excavations show that the ancients used highly precise foundation techniques, handled soil stabilization, distributed weight logically, and designed an intricate underground drainage system to resist flooding. Not to mention the reliefs and motifs have preserved their extraordinary sharpness, proving that the stone-carving skills of Egyptian artisans had reached the height of mastery. Even modern engineers marvel. Without lasers and advanced machinery, how could they achieve such precision? Among the countless archaeological treasures at Kom Ombo, the relief depicting medical instruments is considered one of humanity's most intriguing and debated mysteries. Hidden on the eastern walls amid a series of religious motifs is the image of a clinic engraved with incredible detail. Scalpels, scissors, forceps, scales, syringes, surgical clamps, even items resembling dental needles and obstetric tools. To the untrained eye, these may seem like decorative motifs, but for Egyptologists, doctors, and medical historians, everything changes, because these exact types of instruments did not appear in Europe until thousands of years after Kom Ombo's construction. These illustrations also show medical examination procedures, patient classification, the use of rulers and scales to measure medicine or liquids, all features characteristic of modern medicine. Not only that ancient texts describe physicians working at Kom Ombo, performing healing rituals, wound treatments, bloodletting, even surgery for bladder stones. Some researchers boldly suggest that Kom Ombo was once a medical center or school for the entire Upper Egypt region. This theory gains more ground when in areas around the temple, archaeologists have discovered many bronze and stone medical implements, as well as mummies with signs of pre-mortem surgery. Local folklore still preserves stories of divine healers who cured incurable diseases through sacred rituals combined with cutting incisions, acupuncture, herbal remedies, and secret compounds. Strangely, many of the medical instruments depicted at Kom Ombo are nearly identical to tools used in modern medicine, from scalpels to hemostatic forceps and suction tubes. Scientists have reconstructed some of these implements and found that they can indeed be used for basic procedures such as cutting, incising, suturing, and dressing wounds. Did the Egyptians advance beyond Europe by thousands of years in practical medicine? Or are these reliefs only symbols of divine healing power, a metaphor rather than a literal record? Another remarkable feature is that the reliefs also depict scenes of childbirth, mothers and children eye treatment, a very common disease in ancient Egypt, and purification rituals before surgery. Some researchers believe these images were educational tools to transmit medical knowledge across generations, or perhaps a curriculum for young medical apprentices at Kom Ombo. This makes Kom Ombo even more mysterious. Was this truly a center for training midwives and surgeons for the entire Nile region? In addition, the temple walls display depictions of strange diseases remedies based on herbs, minerals, and various miracle medicines whose formulas are still undeciphered. Many experts believe that the ancient Egyptian medical knowledge once stored at Kom Ombo inspired many later medical traditions. Because it was dedicated to Sobek, the living embodiment of the fierce Nile, Kom Ombo is famous for dozens of crocodile mummies found in sealed rooms and small tombs around the temple. The rituals of bathing crocodiles, raising and then mummifying them after death were believed to appease the gods and ensure peaceful flood seasons, protecting the people from natural disasters. To this day, many crocodile mummies remain intact, living proof of a bizarre and mesmerizing belief system. Many believe these rituals are closely tied to mysterious healing methods, channeling crocodile energy to treat deadly illnesses or infusing divine power into the healers of Kom Ombo. Another mystery of Kom Ombo is its system of wells, water channels, underground tanks, and secret ritual rooms beneath the temple. Many tunnels have yet to be fully excavated, but some theories suggest this system was for medical purification rituals where patients and healers bathed and cleansed themselves before entering the sanctuary or performing treatments. Some believe these channels transported holy water mixed with rare medicinal herbs to small clinics or were used in mysterious healing rituals. Some secret rooms are not yet open, but ancient drawings and symbols reveal that Egyptians at Kom Ombo had deep knowledge of irrigation, groundwater, and hydraulic engineering skills crucial for hygiene and disease prevention in medical ceremonies. Alongside the medical reliefs, Kom Ombo preserves numerous carvings of the ancient Egyptian calendar constellations and lunar solar cycles used to determine the best times for rituals or healing. Many researchers think the ancients relied on this astronomical knowledge to pick auspicious dates for surgery, childbirth, or exorcisms to treat chronic illnesses. Even today, Kom Ombo presents a series of challenging questions for researchers. Are the medical reliefs here evidence of real surgical skills and treatments, or only religious symbols? Was Kom Ombo once the greatest hospital or medical academy of ancient Egypt, safeguarding secret medical knowledge that modern humanity has only just begun to grasp? Do the underground water system, crocodile mummies, and secret rituals all relate to healing, purification, or a special kind of spiritual therapy? Why are the depictions of medical instruments at Kom Ombo so precise and modern, while most of the world at that time was still so backward in medicine? Kom Ombo, through each layer of relief, every corner of the temple, each crocodile mummy, fossilized fragment of medical instrument, an enigmatic drawing, continues to whisper stories of an age when people both worshipped supernatural powers and endlessly pushed the limits of knowledge in science, healing, and the art of surgery. If you think the voyages of Christopher Columbus were already incredible feats, then his journey after death is even more bizarre and tangled. More than 500 years have passed, Yet the world still doesn't truly know. Where is the great explorer who changed history, really buried cold gravestones in both Spain and the Dominican Republic? Each claimed to be Columbus's resting place, but behind every stone lies a labyrinth of secrets, controversy, and national pride. Today, as we stand before two rival tombs on two continents, we are compelled to ask the question that has troubled generations of historians and scientists. Where in this vast world do the true remains of Columbus lie? What do you think? Where is the real tomb of Christopher Columbus? Spain, the Dominican Republic, or somewhere else? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Columbus died in relative obscurity in Valladolid, Spain, in the year 1506, just a few years after his final ill-fated voyage to the Americas. In life, his legacy was already controversial, and in death, the story of his bones became even more tangled. Initially interred in Valladolid, his remains were later moved to Seville in accordance with the wishes of his son Diego. But Columbus's own desire, recorded in his will, was to rest in the Indies, the new lands he had opened to the Old World. This request would set off a centuries-long odyssey of the navigator's bones, an odyssey that is in some ways even more complex than his famous voyages across the Atlantic. In 1542, nearly 4 decades after his death, Columbus's remains were exhumed and sent across the ocean to Santo Domingo on the island of Hispaniola, the oldest European settlement in the New World and a symbolic capital of Spanish colonial ambition. There, his bones were interred in the cathedral, fulfilling, at least in theory, his wish to lie in the lands he had helped conquer. For more than 2 centuries, the Dominican tomb of Columbus stood as a monument to exploration, conquest, and the contested legacy of empire. But history would not let Columbus rest so easily. In 1795, the Treaty of Basel forced Spain to cede Santo Domingo to France. Fearing for the sanctity of Columbus's remains under foreign rule, Spanish officials hurriedly opened the tomb and removed what they believed were his bones, shipping them first to Havana, Cuba, then, after the Spanish loss of Cuba in 1898, back to Seville. There, a grand and imposing mausoleum was constructed in Seville Cathedral, where 4 heraldic figures representing the historic kingdoms of Spain, Castile, Leon, Aragon, and Navarre bear aloft a coffin inscribed with the great navigator's name. The monument is a potent symbol of Spanish pride, but it is also, as later events would reveal, only part of a larger and unresolved drama. In 1877, workmen renovating the cathedral in Santo Domingo made a sensational discovery. Hidden beneath a stone slab marked "Illustrious and Distinguished Male, Don Cristobal Colon," the Spanish name for Christopher Columbus. They found a lead box containing human bones. An accompanying inscription read, "These are the remains of the illustrious Cristobal Colon and of his son Diego." The Dominicans claimed that the Spanish had taken the wrong bones in their hasty evacuation nearly a century earlier, and that the authentic remains of Columbus had never left the Caribbean at all. The box and bones were put on display in Santo Domingo's Faro a Colon, a gigantic cross-shaped mausoleum and lighthouse built in the 20th century to honor the supposed tomb of Columbus. Thus began an international dispute that continues to this day. 2 cities, Seville and Santo Domingo, each claim to possess the genuine remains of Christopher Columbus. Both have built elaborate monuments and staked their reputations and national identities on their rival claims. For Spain, Columbus is a foundational hero, the man who delivered an empire and reshaped world history. For the Dominican Republic, he is a symbol of first contact colonial legacy and a complex Caribbean heritage. The question of where his bones actually lie has become a matter of pride politics and unresolved history. But is it possible to settle the matter once and for all? In the 21st century, science has been called upon to weigh in, where tradition and politics collide. In 2003, A team of Spanish researchers, led by José Antonio Lorente, undertook a forensic analysis of the bones interred in Seville. Using mitochondrial DNA extracted from the remains in the Seville tomb, they compared the genetic markers with those from the remains of Columbus's brother Diego and his son Hernando. The results indicated a family match, suggesting that at least some of the bones in Seville are truly those of Columbus. But the analysis was limited by the small, fragmented, and degraded samples available, and crucially, it was never possible to obtain access to the remains in Santo Domingo for a direct comparison. The Dominican authorities have steadfastly refused to allow any foreign scientific investigation of the bones housed in the Faro a Colón. The reasons are partly bureaucratic, partly nationalistic for the Dominican Republic. Columbus's tomb is not just a scientific curiosity, but a sacred relic, a symbol of independence and identity. To open it to foreign analysis would risk undermining the narrative that his remains never left the island. This impasse has only deepened the mystery, leaving the possibility that both tombs contain parts of Columbus's remains or that neither does. The situation is further complicated by the chaotic movements of the bones over the centuries. Historical records are patchy, inventories confused, and some documents suggest that the Spanish might have inadvertently taken the bones of Columbus's son Diego, not the great explorer himself, when they left Santo Domingo in 1795. Others argue that the bones in the Dominican tomb could actually belong to another family member, or even an entirely unrelated person. The possibility that Columbus's remains are now scattered between two continents or lost altogether is both plausible and poetic, a fitting legacy for a man who lived between worlds. Even today, visitors to both Seville and Santo Domingo encounter the story of Columbus's tomb as a living legend. In Seville Cathedral, the imposing mausoleum draws crowds of tourists and pilgrims, its bearers frozen in eternal homage to the explorer who changed the world. In Santo Domingo, the Faro a Colón is a national shrine, its beam of light casting a symbolic path across the Atlantic to the Old World. The mystery is not just a matter of science or history, but of faith, memory, and the stories nations tell about their origins. The debate over Columbus's final resting place has become a metaphor for the contradictions at the heart of his legacy. Was he a visionary or a villain? A bringer of civilization, or the architect of conquest and tragedy? The uncertainty about his remains mirrors the ambiguity of his impact, a man whose voyages connected worlds but also unleashed conflict, disease, and displacement. In the debate over his tomb, we see the ongoing struggle to interpret claim and make sense of the past. What does it mean that we do not know for sure where Christopher Columbus is buried? For some, it is a historical scandal, a failure of record-keeping and respect. For others, it is a fitting tribute to a man who spent his life searching, journeying, and never truly finding the lands he sought. The competing tombs are not just monuments to Columbus, but monuments to the enduring power of mystery in history. The search for the real tomb of Columbus continues to inspire scientists, historians, and the curious. DNA technology grows more sophisticated every year. Perhaps one day the impasse will break, and the remains in Santo Domingo will be subjected to the same rigorous testing as those in Seville. Or perhaps the mystery will persist, with each side clinging to its own version of history. In a world hungry for certainty, the unresolved fate of Columbus's bones is a reminder that not all questions can be answered, at least not yet. But perhaps the true legacy of the tomb of Christopher Columbus lies not in the bones themselves, but in the questions they provoke. In a time when history is being constantly rewritten, when identities are challenged and nations seek their place in a global narrative, the story of Columbus's tomb stands as an invitation to keep asking, keep searching, and keep wondering about the meaning of the past. The mystery endures. Where is the true resting place of Christopher Columbus? For now, it is a question with no final answer, a secret that lies at the crossroads of legend, science, and the ever-shifting sands of human memory. Hidden beneath the dense jungles of Central America lies a world built by the Maya, one of humanity's most brilliant yet enigmatic civilizations. From the Yucatan Peninsula, deep into Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize, the ancient Maya left behind towering pyramids, sprawling ceremonial plazas, and a mysterious legacy written in stone and time. Their achievements in architecture, mathematics, astronomy, and writing still inspire awe. But it's the unanswered questions, the haunting riddles left behind, that draw us back generation after generation. The story of the Maya is a saga of genius, ambition, resilience, and ultimately disappearance. At its height, the Maya world was a tapestry of vibrant city-states, Tikal-Palenque, Copan-Calakmul, and Chichen Itza, each ruled by powerful dynasties. They engineered immense cities in some of the world's least forgiving landscapes, raising pyramids like El Castillo and Temple the Four high above the treetops, their faces inscribed with glyphs that recorded triumphs, alliances, and even cosmic events. What do you think is the greatest mystery of the Maya civilization? Is it the sudden disappearance of their cities, their mysterious rituals, or something else? In your opinion, what really happened to the ancient Maya? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Yet for all their brilliance, so much about the Maya remains elusive. Their hieroglyphic writing, among the most complex scripts of the ancient world, has only been partially deciphered. The collapse of their classic period, around the 9th to 10th centuries, remains a subject of intense debate. Beneath every stone, within every ruined palace and silent temple, lie mysteries that resist easy answers. Among the greatest enigmas is the sudden and dramatic collapse of the southern lowland Maya cities. At the dawn of the 9th century, monumental construction halted. Great cities were abandoned, their once mighty plazas overtaken by jungle. The cause scholars have proposed climate change, prolonged drought, warfare, overpopulation, resource depletion, political turmoil, and even disease or supernatural beliefs. No single explanation suffices. Some evidence points to decades-long droughts based on sediment and cave records, but the collapse was uneven. Some cities faded away while others thrived in the north, such as Chichen Itza and Uxmal, raising the question, why did some regions succumb while others endured? Modern LiDAR technology, laser scanning from aircraft, has begun to reveal just how much we've missed. In the last decade, vast networks of ancient roads, walls, reservoirs, and even entire urban centers have emerged beneath the forest unseen for centuries. Archaeologists now estimate that millions more Maya once lived in areas previously thought uninhabited. The sheer scale of these lost cities challenges everything we thought we knew about Maya demographics and urban planning. Are there yet unknown cities still hidden? What secrets do they hold about Maya society, their rituals, and their eventual decline? Another enduring mystery lies beneath the surface: the Maya's obsession with the underworld, or Xibalba. Natural sinkholes, cenotes, and vast cave systems dot the Maya heartland. To the Maya, these were sacred portals to the gods. Many cenotes, especially in Chichen Itza, are littered with precious artifacts. Gold, jade, and human remains, evidence of elaborate rituals, including human sacrifice. The exact meanings and methods of these ceremonies and how they related to the Maya's worldview remain subjects of speculation. Why did they believe the gods demanded such offerings? How did these rites connect to astronomical events, such as solar eclipses or planetary alignments meticulously tracked by Maya priests? The Maya were not only master builders, but also ingenious engineers. They constructed vast reservoirs and canal networks to manage water in a land often plagued by drought. Their cities feature massive raised causeways, Sakbiabi complex drainage systems, and precision-cut stones assembled without mortar. Some structures are aligned with astonishing accuracy to celestial events like the equinox shadows that form the feathered serpent at Chichen Itza. How did the Maya achieve such feats with stone tools, no wheeled vehicles, and limited metal technology? What knowledge have we yet to recover from their codices, most of which were burned in the 16th century, regarding their construction techniques? Only 4 authentic Maya codices survive today, the rest lost to history. While epigraphers have made strides in translating the glyphs found on monuments and ceramics, many inscriptions remain enigmatic. Maya texts encode elaborate calendar systems, historical chronicles, and mythological tales, much of it still undeciphered. Some glyphs represent sounds or concepts for which there is no modern equivalent. What secrets about Maya science, governance, or philosophy might still be hidden in undecoded texts? The Maya calendar is perhaps their most famous legacy. Their long count system tracked time in vast cycles, and their calculations of solar, lunar, and planetary movements were so precise that they rivaled and sometimes surpassed those of contemporary civilizations. The so-called 2012 phenomenon, which captivated the world, was rooted in the Maya belief in cycles of creation and destruction. Yet scholars agree the end of Abaktun, a period of about 394 years, was not an apocalypse but the renewal of time. Still, the symbolic power of Maya cosmology continues to fascinate. How did a people living in the jungles of Central America develop such advanced astronomy? What drove them to invest so much into understanding and perhaps influencing cosmic cycles? Maya society was ruled by divine kings Ajah, whose legitimacy was tied to blood lineage and ritual. Many inscriptions detail elaborate ceremonies where kings drew their own blood as offerings to the gods. The complex interplay of religion, politics, and ritual power shaped Maya history. Yet the true meaning behind some of their most dramatic rituals, self-bloodletting, ball-game sacrifices, elaborate processions, is still debated. Were these acts of devotion displays of power or encoded myths enacted in real life? Despite progress in archaeology, one question looms above all others. Why did the Maya abandon their greatest cities? Evidence shows that after centuries of development, many centers were deserted rapidly. Temples fell silent, ball courts grew wild, trade routes broke down, and monuments were left unfinished. What could cause an entire civilization to retreat into the jungle, leaving behind so much? Was it only drought and war, or something more, perhaps a loss of faith, a crisis of leadership, or even a slow unraveling of social order that left cities hollow long before they were truly empty? Every year, new discoveries are made. Recently, researchers have uncovered massive megalopolis complexes, hundreds of connected settlements spanning hundreds of kilometers. Burial chambers with jade masks and hieroglyphs tell of unknown kings and vanished dynasties. White roads, Sakbiob, extend for dozens of kilometers through now impassable forest, linking ceremonial centers whose purpose we can only guess. In hidden caves, vessels and skeletons are found in positions suggesting rituals long lost to living memory. Despite the collapse of many classic cities, Maya civilization did not vanish. Descendants of the ancient Maya still live throughout Mesoamerica, speaking dozens of related languages, carrying on traditional arts, rituals, and a sense of cosmic order inherited from their ancestors. But even for them, the full story of their forebears is shrouded in myth and half-remembered lore. What wisdom, what warnings, and what wonders are locked within the stones and glyphs of the ancient Maya, waiting to be unearthed by future generations? The Maya civilization compels us to rethink humanity's past. What they left behind is both a creative marvel and an enduring mystery without a final answer. Every achievement that is decoded seems to raise new questions. How much knowledge was lost with the manuscripts that were burned? What secrets still lie hidden beneath the jungle? Do their rituals and monuments hold meanings beyond our understanding? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, what truly caused such a vibrant world to collapse? As we walk among the ruins of the Maya, we realize this place feels both familiar and alien, a world where time moves in cycles, and people believed they could communicate with the gods. The Maya civilization, along with its mysteries, always reminds us some stories aren't meant to be solved, but to be explored forever. Amidst the vast collection of ancient wonders that have survived the millennia, the Temple of Dendur stands out not merely for its architectural beauty, but for the mysteries woven into its stones and its improbable journey from the banks of the Nile to the heart of modern-day New York City. Built around 15 BCE during the Roman occupation of Egypt, this modest yet elegant sandstone temple encapsulates not only the religious fervor and technical mastery of ancient Egyptian builders, but also the enigmatic choices that shaped its very existence. Today, as visitors step into its reconstructed home within the Metropolitan Museum of Art, they encounter not only a relic of a vanished world, but a monument layered with secrets none more tantalizing than the riddle of its original placement beside the River Nile. Why do you think the ancient builders chose this very spot on the Nile's bank for the Temple of Dendur? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Temple of Dendur was commissioned during the reign of Roman Emperor Augustus, an era when Egypt had become a province under Roman control, yet retained much of its ancient spiritual tradition. The temple's construction, dedicated to the goddess Isis and the local deified brothers Pediasa and Pihor, reflects a unique moment of cultural intersection where Roman imperial patronage melded with deep-rooted Nubian and Egyptian beliefs. The choice of Nubia, a land straddling the southern reaches of Egypt and northern Sudan, famed for its gold fortresses and its own proud civilizations, adds another layer of complexity. The temple's relatively small size, its careful orientation, and its precise stonework all suggest a deliberate, almost obsessive attention to its setting. But why was this temple, among countless others, placed where it was? The temple was not simply a decorative monument. Its walls are adorned with vivid reliefs depicting Augustus as a pharaoh, making offerings to Isis and Osiris, while the local gods Pediasi and Pihor receive their own forms of veneration. The imagery on the temple suggests it played a crucial role in local spiritual life, possibly marking a boundary between the Nile floodplain and the desert, or serving as a point of pilgrimage for worshippers seeking protection or blessings. Yet certain scenes and symbols etched into the sandstone have eluded precise interpretation. Some motifs hint at ritual purification, or even esoteric magical practices, while others appear unique to this region, resisting comparison to other Egyptian sanctuaries. These enigmatic details only amplify the central question: what unique purpose did this temple serve in its Nubian context? The Temple of Dendur was built from Nubian sandstone, its blocks expertly cut and fitted together without the benefit of iron tools or modern machinery. Over 2,000 years later, the joins between stones remain tight, and the carved reliefs retain much of their crispness. This durability is itself a kind of mystery. How did ancient builders achieve such longevity and precision? Did they possess lost methods of quarrying or stone preservation? In the 20th century, when the temple was dismantled for relocation, conservators were repeatedly astonished at the subtlety of the builders' techniques. The structure survived centuries of Nile flooding and desert winds with far less erosion than many larger or more protected temples. It raises question about what engineering secrets may have been embedded in the temple's siting and construction. Among all the enigmas surrounding the Temple of Dendur, the greatest is the mystery of its original location on the Nile's west bank, not far from the ancient town of Sabua, modern-day southern Egypt, close to the Sudanese border. Why was this spot chosen? Scholars have debated several possibilities, each suggestion opening new avenues of speculation, but providing few definitive answers. Some Egyptologists believe the temple's placement was dictated by astronomical considerations. The temple faces roughly east, oriented to catch the rising sun, a symbolic gesture echoing the daily rebirth of the gods and the pharaoh's divine legitimacy. In ancient Egypt, such alignments often carried deep spiritual significance, linking the architecture to celestial cycles, agricultural seasons, or festivals such as the Feast of Isis. There is also evidence that certain processional routes, either along the riverbank or across the floodplain, would converge on the temple during key religious observances. But while the orientation is clear, the precise relationship between the temple's axis and local topography remains a matter of conjecture. Another hypothesis centers on the temple's proximity to the Nile. Positioned close enough to the river to be threatened by its annual floods, the temple may have been deliberately sited to harness the sacred power of the inundation, a force both feared and revered in ancient Egypt. Some researchers argue that the temple functioned as a kind of spiritual gateway, standing on the threshold between the reliable cultivation of the Nile Valley and the untamed wilderness beyond. The annual floodwaters, which could render the temple temporarily inaccessible or partially submerged, would have transformed it into a liminal place, a site for rites of passage, spiritual cleansing, or the invocation of fertility and abundance. However, the temple's location was also perilous, and many ask why its builders risked the loss of such a costly and sacred edifice. Recent archaeological surveys suggest the possibility that the temple's site was once part of a larger sacred landscape, perhaps associated with now-lost settlements, tombs, or ceremonial roads. Some ground-penetrating radar studies hint at the foundations of other smaller shrines nearby, or traces of structures that may have served pilgrims or priests. Yet no extensive urban ruins have been found, and much of the area remains unexcavated, submerged, or buried beneath centuries of silt. The absence of direct evidence only deepens the mystery. Did the temple mark the spiritual center of a vanished community, or did it stand in isolated splendor as a beacon for travelers along the Nile? A further possibility is that the temple's location had political or strategic significance. During the reign of Augustus, the borderlands between Egypt and Nubia were zones of tension and frequent conflict. Building a Roman-sponsored temple at Dendur could have been a gesture of authority, a way of marking imperial presence, or winning the loyalty of local Nubian elites. The inclusion of the deified brothers Pediese and Pihor, believed to have drowned in the Nile, might have further connected the temple to themes of sacrifice, border protection, or ancestral guardianship. But if the temple was a message to the Nubians or a ritualized border post, why was it not better fortified or supported by garrisons? The lack of clear fortifications or even major settlements nearby makes this theory incomplete. Ultimately, the answer remains elusive. The temple's placement is at once logical near the vital artery of the Nile, facing the dawn, tied to the religious and economic lifeblood of Egypt, and deeply puzzling given its exposure to floods and its apparent isolation. Its foundations rest not just on sandstone, but on layers of lost meaning, forgotten rituals, and the silent intentions of its creators. To this day, the precise reasoning behind the selection of this specific spot is a subject of ongoing debate among historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts alike. The land where the Temple of Dendur once stood has been drowned by the waters of Lake Nasser, and with it, perhaps the final answers to its greatest riddle. Beyond its physical replacement, the Temple of Dendur harbors other mysteries in the form of its reliefs and inscriptions. The walls teem with scenes of sacrifice offerings and godly intervention, many rendered with stylistic flourishes unique to Nubia. Yet not all the temple's carvings have been translated or understood. Certain symbols may represent lost local myths, ritual codes, or even warnings intended only for the initiated. The story of the drowned brothers memorialized on the temple has no exact parallel elsewhere in Egyptian myth. Was this a folk memory, a moral tale, or a coded political message? Scholars continue to debate each theory, shedding more light on the temple's role while deepening its sense of enigma. The Temple of Dendur remains more than a museum piece or a relic of imperial vanity. It is a living question, a dialogue between past and present, between the certainties of archaeology and the imponderables of human intention. Its stones recall a vanished landscape, a lost rhythm of sun and river ritual and memory. Now surrounded by glass and steel, it stands as a silent challenge to all who seek to know the ancient world. Why here? Why this place, this riverbank, this alignment with sun and flood? The answer, if it exists, lies buried beneath layers of sand water and centuries of forgetting a mystery as enduring as the Nile itself. On the ancient land of Karnataka, hidden amidst tranquil lakes and deep forests, a stone masterpiece quietly challenges all boundaries of human understanding. Hoysaleswara Temple is not just an old temple, it is like a mysterious message from the past, holding countless unanswered questions. Every wall, every stone here seems to record the secrets of a lost civilization, with construction techniques and sculptural artistry that leave modern experts bewildered. For over 8 centuries, Hoysaleswara has stood tall against nature and time, inviting all who love exploration to embark on a journey to decode mysteries that transcend the limits of conventional history and science. What do you think about the construction techniques of Hoysaleswara Temple? Did a civilization with advanced knowledge really exist in South India nearly a millennium ago? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As soon as you set foot in Halebidu, visitors are overwhelmed by the majestic temple complex set on a high stone platform surrounded by lakes and forests, creating an atmosphere that is both ancient and contemplative. Despite enduring centuries of war and destruction, with many parts damaged, what remains of Hoysaleswara Temple still leaves any history enthusiast speechless. Thousands of sculptures cover every wall column and pedestal, from deities in Indian mythology and legendary creatures to scenes of human life and depictions of daily existence. All are intricately carved on a hard stone called chloritic schist, a material renowned for its difficulty to work. Yet the greatest mystery of Hoysaleswara lies in the construction techniques used by ancient builders. First, the temple boasts a unique twin shrine structure with 2 main sanctums, Hoysaleswara and Shantaleshwara, arranged side by side on a star-shaped elevated platform, Jagati rarely seen in Indian architectural history. This foundation serves as a solid base, helping the structure withstand rain, sun, earthquakes, and even plant encroachment. Modern researchers, upon surveying the foundations, are amazed at the solidity of the stone platform. Large stone blocks are perfectly fitted together without any adhesive. Yet after hundreds of years, there is no sinking or cracking. How did ancient builders move, lift, and align hundreds of multi-ton stones with such precision when cranes and modern pulleys didn't exist? The mystery grows deeper when considering how Hoysala artisans worked the hard stone surfaces. Chloritic schist is extremely hard. Using rudimentary medieval tools would easily crack or shatter it, or make it impossible to create fine details. Yet the bas-reliefs of Hoysaleswara are so sharp that each garment fold, hair strand, jewelry motif, and dragon scale appear as if sculpted in something soft and pliable. Especially striking are the incredibly smooth cuts and tiny details, only a few millimeters in size, yet even and unwarped, demonstrating masterful control over touch angle and depth. Some animal statues even show lively expressions, a rarity for this era. Some hypothesize that Hoysala artists used long-handled copper alloy tools to leverage force, perhaps combined with a secret of fire hardening or chemical softening of the stone before carving, but to date, no concrete evidence has confirmed these methods. Another aspect that stumps today's engineers is the joints between the stone blocks. Most large blocks are cut into cuboid shapes, edges perfectly squared, and when joined, fit so tightly that not even a thin blade can slip between them. There's no mortar, no moss or water seepage despite centuries of exposure to tropical weather. Some wall sections use a dovetail technique, stones with interlocking grooves and tongues increasing strength and resisting shifting in minor earthquakes. The foundation and walls also have hidden drainage holes, channeling rainwater out and preventing internal erosion. All this shows a knowledge of materials geology and construction technique that far surpasses what we imagine for ancient India. The temple's carving techniques remain a topic of debate among archaeologists, historians, and engineers for decades. Some mysterious motifs, Makara crocodile monster, Yali lion-elephant hybrid, Garuda divine bird, are repeated in specific patterns along the walls. Some researchers believe these may be visual codes, conveying protection, spiritual guidance, or marking sacred locations. In addition, some busts and reliefs are left unfinished at the sketch stage, indicating construction was abruptly halted, possibly due to war or disaster. Another mystery is that many heads of Shiva, Vishnu, and Parvati were chiseled off, leaving only bodies or broken heads, while animal and everyday life reliefs remain intact. Why were only divine symbols destroyed while other details were left? Perhaps this reflects different cultural values between invaders. Many experts also question, where did the Hoysalas get their stone, and how was it transported? There are no major chloritic schist quarries near Halebidu. Some theories suggest these stones were quarried from distant hills, then transported to the site using sledges, poles, or rafts during the rainy season when water levels rose. To cut and shape the stones required a team of skilled artisans working together for years while ensuring almost perfect accuracy. Many ancient inscriptions record the names of artisans and families involved, but much remains unknown about labor organization, task assignment, and quality control methods. Not only the walls and foundation, but even Hoysaleswara's roof was uniquely designed. Although most of the original roof has been destroyed over time, archaeological records show the temple once had multiple roof tiers, using heavy stone slabs stacked in a low pyramid style. This design evenly distributed weight down to the foundation while creating ventilation and coolness in Karnataka's hot, humid climate. When experts attempted 3D reconstruction, they found that just a slight error in the angle or proportion of the stone slabs would cause the entire roof to collapse further, proving the calculation and execution skills of the Hoysala builders rival those of modern engineers. Of course, another major mystery is that the temple was never fully completed. Columns, reliefs, and walls remain unfinished, with many motifs only sketched out. The invasion by the Delhi Sultanate in the early 14th century interrupted construction, leaving Halebidu in ruins. But this fact only adds to Hoysaleswara's mysterious allure. It's like a fossilized project, preserving every stage from concept and draft to finished work, a living museum of medieval South Indian construction techniques. One cannot fail to mention the highly intelligent underground drainage system beneath the temple. The ancients designed channels to lead rainwater down into small collection pits, then out to surrounding ponds, preventing flooding and protecting the foundation from erosion. This explains why after centuries, while many contemporaneous temples have been damaged, Hoysaleswara still stands firm amidst harsh nature. Such solutions show a holistic mindset in design, going beyond art to consider a building's lifespan in real-world environments. When analyzing ancient inscriptions around the temple, Archaeologists found many mysterious messages in Kannada and Sanskrit, mostly about rituals, construction events, and offerings, but some remain untranslated. Concealed within them may be the technical secrets that Hoysala ancestors intentionally kept hidden, passing them only within family lineages or priestly circles. These inscriptions, along with thousands of relief statues and stone columns throughout the temple, are an invaluable resource for anyone seeking to decode the construction mysteries of ancient India. Hoysaleswara Temple is not just a religious structure or a masterpiece of art, but also a technical puzzle that has left generations of modern experts pondering. From materials transport, carving methods, and joint techniques to labor organization, every detail poses great questions for human history. Have we truly understood our past? Or do secrets remain waiting for the day when technology and thought advance far enough to reach them? Hoysaleswara Temple, this unexplainable masterpiece, will forever be a challenge for those passionate about exploring the limits of human intellect and craftsmanship. There are places where, upon setting foot, you feel as if time has stopped, where every sound dissolves into an eerie, haunting silence. Lalitgiri, nestled deep within the lush valleys of Odisha, is one such place. Somewhere beneath layers of ancient earth and stone lie traces of a once glorious Buddhist civilization, a land that once echoed with sacred chants and the footsteps of thousands of pilgrims. Yet over the centuries, that brilliance faded away, giving way to moss-covered ruins, shattered statues, and a lingering sense of doubt that cannot be named. No one knows exactly what happened to Lalitgiri, why such a flourishing Buddhist center vanished so quietly, leaving behind countless unanswered questions for generations to come. Behind its somber beauty and scattered relics, Lalitgiri hides mysteries that history, science, and imagination have yet to unravel. What do you think truly happened to Lalitgiri, and why did such a magnificent Buddhist center disappear so mysteriously? Share your thoughts in the comments below. From ancient times, Lalitgiri stood out as one of the largest and oldest Buddhist centers in the Indian subcontinent. Archaeological discoveries here, from monasteries, vihara stupas to countless Buddha and Bodhisattva statues, all affirm that this place was once a headquarters for disseminating, studying, and safeguarding the Dharma. Alongside two famous sites, Ratnagiri and Udayagiri, Lalitgiri forms the Diamond Triangle, becoming a spiritual anchor, a training ground for monks and nuns, and a retreat for sages across South Asia. The layers of stacked architecture, ancient stone walls, and mossy pathways all radiate the prosperity and enduring strength of a brilliant Buddhist civilization. Archaeologists have found here numerous stupas, especially the renowned Mahastupa, the Grand Stupa, that still towers amidst nature like the Sacred Heart of Lalitgiri, a place that once housed the most precious relics. What makes Lalitgiri famous on the global archaeological map is not only the scale of its monuments, but also the astonishing discoveries inside the stupas. In 1985, archaeologists unearthed a steatite casket, an ornate stone reliquary buried deep within the Mahastupa. Inside this small box was a sacred relic, said to belong to the Buddha himself, though debates about its authenticity persist to this day. The presence of the relic has elevated Lalitgiri to the ranks of the most enigmatic Buddhist holy sites in the world. But it's not just the relics. Excavations also show that Lalitgiri was once very wealthy, as evidenced by a multitude of finely crafted artifacts in gold, silver, gemstones, and a diverse array of pottery. These artifacts reveal that this was once a cultural treasury, a hub of trade, and a convergence point for top-tier artistry and craftsmanship. This raises further questions. How did a religious center amass such great wealth? Are there secrets still hidden deep within the monastic systems and storerooms that descendants have yet to discover. Besides material heritage, Lalitgiri is also distinguished by its system of stone statues and bas-reliefs with a unique artistic style rarely found elsewhere. Many large Buddha statues in meditative posture radiate a sense of majesty and wisdom. Especially notable are the depictions of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of Compassion Tara, and other bodhisattvas, all crafted with refined lines and a sculptural style not entirely matching the Gandhara Mathura or traditional Gupta schools, but creatively blending in indigenous elements. Some statues even exhibit mysterious forms and symbols, such as lotus motifs, spiral patterns, and peculiar characters, prompting researchers to debate their origins, symbolic meanings, and whether Lalitgiri had direct connections to Buddhist centers in Southeast Asia. The hybridity in Lalitgiri's art has given rise to hypotheses about much wider waves of cultural exchange than history books have recorded. Perhaps the most haunting aspect of Lalitgiri is not just its relics, Buddha statues, or dazzling treasures, but rather the great mystery surrounding the unexplained decline of this entire Buddhist center. From the 3rd century BCE to the 7th and 8th centuries CE, Lalitgiri was a vibrant land where thousands of monks and devotees gathered for study and the propagation of the Dharma. The remaining monuments, relics, and grand architectural scale all prove that this was once a spiritual and scholarly metropolis of the highest order. Yet like a flame suddenly snuffed out, all traces of its former glory gradually sank beneath layers of earth and stone, leaving behind cold ruins and distant memories preserved only in local folklore. What troubles researchers the most is why Lalitgiri and the entire Diamond Triangle declined so abruptly and remained buried for thousands of years. Many theories have been put forward, but none is absolutely conclusive. Some believe it was due to power struggles and shifts in dynasties when Hindu kingdoms like the Gangas and Somavamsis rose to power and moved the centers of authority toward temples dedicated to Shiva and Vishnu, causing the Buddhist monasteries to lose their royal patronage and slowly fall into oblivion. Others suggest the region may have suffered from natural disasters such as earthquakes, landslides, or major epidemics that collapsed its entire social and religious structure, forcing many monks to flee or perish, leaving monuments buried and unguarded. Some scholars emphasize the role of changes in trade routes, noting that Lalitgiri was once a key transit point on ancient trade paths. But when these routes changed or were severed by wars, financial support, and the flow of pilgrims declined, sharply accelerating the decline. Additionally, cultural and ideological shifts with the resurgence of Brahmanism and the Hindu revival movement in the 7th and 8th centuries gradually diminished the appeal and influence of Buddhism, especially in eastern India. However, none of these theories fully explains the biggest questions. Why were the monasteries buried intact, with no signs of destruction from warfare? Why have the relics, treasures, and precious statues remained untouched, not looted or relocated as commonly seen in other ancient sites? What truly happened to the monastic community, the artisans and the devotees who once made Lalitgiri so radiant? Even ancient records do not clarify these events, and local legends are fragmented, casting a fog over all attempts to reconstruct history across those centuries of oblivion. Even today, many areas of Lalitgiri have yet to be fully excavated, making the mystery of its decline even deeper, leaving humanity with a great question about the fate and untold stories of a Buddhist center that once shone so brightly. Although much has been excavated since the 20th century, Lalitgiri still conceals many secrets. Archaeologists believe there are still many areas, structures, and artifacts deep underground, with only a tiny portion having been uncovered so far. Modern excavations continue to reveal new foundations, secondary monuments, and reliquary boxes previously unknown. The big question is, are there still documents, relics, or historical evidence that could illuminate Lalitgiri's glorious past as well as the real reason for its sudden decline? Or will everything forever remain merely hypotheses, lost in the mysterious darkness of time? Today, Lalitgiri has become a spiritual tourism destination where devotees and travelers from all over come to pay homage and reflect on both spiritual values and ancient mysteries. Above all, every stone statue and artifact here quietly challenges future generations. How many stories are still buried beneath this earth and stone? How many untold and unexplained things will be discovered thanks to science and human perseverance? And can we ever truly understand everything? Or will Lalitgiri remain forever an inscribed stone scripture that no one has ever fully read? Lalitgiri is one of the oldest and most mysterious ancient Buddhist centers, both a symbol of wisdom and a testament to the limits of human understanding of history. Its former prosperity, followed by a puzzling decline, and countless unanswered questions have turned Lalitgiri into an eternal enigma of Eastern civilization. What makes this place truly special is that every relic, every step here can lead to new mysteries, opening up more stories about humanity's past that have yet to be deciphered. In the arid and desolate lands of Balochistan, long before the world knew of great civilizations, a quiet community laid the earliest foundation of agriculture and settled life, Mehrgarh. No ancient legends speak of its people, yet traces such as mud brick structures, grain storage facilities, and modest artifacts reveal a completely new chapter in human history, the emergence of technology, creativity, and social organization far beyond what we would expect in an age when most of humanity still lived as nomads. Mehrgarh is not merely an archaeological site, but a first gateway into agricultural civilization, communal living, and humanity's earliest visions of a stable future. And yet it is here that the question of how such a civilization arose and why it ultimately vanished remains one of the most enduring mysteries, still lacking a satisfying answer to this day. What do you think really happened to the mysterious civilization of Mehrgarh? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Long before the Nile was tamed or the Euphrates shaped the fate of empires, the people of Mehrgarh had already learned the art of cultivation and domestication. Archaeological evidence reveals that as early as 9,000 years ago, the inhabitants of this city were sowing wheat and barley, storing their harvest in well-constructed granaries, and raising herds of cattle, sheep, and goats. This was not a random cluster of huts, but a community with a shared vision: homes built of mud bricks, large communal storage rooms, planned spaces for work and worship, and even intricate burial practices. The sheer antiquity and sophistication of Mehrgarh's agricultural system raise a haunting question. How did a society with no known written language, metallurgy, or large-scale tools manage to spark such an agricultural revolution? Modern research places Mehrgarh as the predecessor and probable foundation for the Indus Valley civilization, the architects of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. Many of the social, cultural, and technological innovations that would later define those riverine metropolises first appeared here. From the earliest pottery styles to methods of brick construction, bead-making, metallurgy, and burial customs, Mehrgarh was the testing ground for the advances that would shape an entire region for millennia. But here, too, lies a veil of mystery. How did knowledge and techniques from a seemingly isolated outpost spread so far and wide, influencing future civilizations separated by hundreds of kilometers and centuries of time? Was there a forgotten network of trade, migration, or spiritual connection threading these ancient worlds together? What truly sets Mehrgarh apart is its astonishing level of urban planning and architectural ingenuity, unprecedented for a settlement so ancient. The inhabitants designed multi-room dwellings, utilized advanced mud brick technology, and constructed elaborate storage systems to manage their surplus. Archaeologists have discovered evidence of public buildings, granaries, and even rudimentary drainage or water management systems, all hallmarks of a sophisticated society. Even more perplexing, there are signs of deliberate zoning, with clear distinctions between areas meant for living production and ritual. How did a community from the Neolithic age achieve such organization? The absence of monumental architecture or kingly tombs suggests a society without rigid hierarchy, yet their collective achievements are anything but primitive. This paradox sits at the heart of Mehrgarh's enduring allure. Mehrgarh has gifted the world with some of the oldest evidence for medical innovation and craftsmanship. Among the most striking finds is the proof of prehistoric dentistry, human remains with drilled molars dating back to at least 6,500 BCE. The precision and intent behind these dental procedures are breathtaking, implying a knowledge of health and anatomy far ahead of its time. In addition, the site yielded a trove of jewelry, ceramics, tools, and figurines that exhibit not just utility, but true artistry and symbolic meaning. The beadwork and pottery reveal intricate designs, while figurines, often of women, hint at spiritual or ritualistic dimensions that remain only partially understood. What inspired such technical leaps and spiritual expression in a world seemingly cut off from the great centers of ancient civilization? The answer is lost in time, obscured by the sands of Balochistan and the silence of an unwritten language. If the rise of Mehrgarh was a heroic saga of intelligence, adaptation, and innovation, then its decline and abandonment stand as one of the greatest mysteries in South Asian archaeology, fueling debate among scholars for decades. Around 4,000 years BCE, this once thriving settlement, home to thousands and seen as a symbol of human progress, began to show inexplicable signs of decline. Warm mud brick houses that had sheltered generations fell silent and empty. Lush fields turned barren, and the crafts that once brought pride to the people of Mehrgarh gradually faded into oblivion. The most remarkable thing is that there is no evidence of war, famine, plague, or any great disaster here, phenomena commonly found in ancient cities facing collapse. Instead, the departure from Mehrgarh seems to have happened in an orderly manner, with no violence, no chaos, yet leaving behind countless unanswered questions. Researchers have proposed many theories to explain this phenomenon. Some believe that climate change, such as the drying of nearby rivers or shifts in monsoon patterns, made the environment increasingly harsh, forcing residents to leave their homeland in search of more fertile lands to the east, where the Indus Valley civilizations were just beginning to emerge. Others emphasize the possibility that the Mehrgarh community gradually integrated or merged with larger, stronger societies rising in the Indus Valley, leading to a peaceful, conflict-free dissolution of the old community. However, all of these theories remain mere speculation for to this day. There are no records or concrete evidence revealing where the people of Mehrgarh actually went, what became of them, or why a once flourishing city was suddenly abandoned. Could it be that their descendants carried knowledge, skills, and traditions eastward, becoming a vital link in the emergence of Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, and the vast network of Indus Valley cities? Or was it some other cause, an undetected epidemic, social upheavals invisible in the archaeological record, or a slow internal weakening that quietly brought about the end of Mehrgarh? The truth is, everything remains a mystery. Questions like why such an advanced and sophisticated society could vanish entirely, leaving behind only the ruins of mud brick homes and the faint traces of a nearly forgotten way of life, where its people truly went, and how their story transformed the eastern lands, or whether there exists a hidden connection between Mehrgarh and cities like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, or the civilizations lost to floods and the passage of time all continue to echo and linger within the layers of dust, covering these ancient ruins, urgently awaiting answers that humanity may never find. A further dimension to Mehrgarh's mystery lies in its religious and ritualistic life. While no great temples or towering idols have been uncovered, the presence of numerous terracotta figurines, amulets, and burial offerings points to a society with complex spiritual beliefs. The repeated emphasis on female figurines suggests the possible veneration of fertility or earth goddesses archetypes seen in many early civilizations. But the full meaning of Mehrgarh's rituals, myths, and sacred symbols remains shrouded in darkness. With no script, no priestly texts, and only a handful of clues, every new find raises more questions than it answers. For today's scientists, Mehrgarh is more than just a prehistoric settlement, it is a time capsule. New techniques such as stratigraphic analysis, radiocarbon dating, and ancient DNA studies continue to extract secrets from its soils. Recent research hints at genetic links between Mehrgarh and populations that would later dominate the Indus Valley, supporting the idea of cultural and biological continuity. The discovery of ancient dental practices, high-temperature kilns, and complex burial customs all reinforce Mehrgarh's status as a wellspring of innovation and human resilience. Despite all that has been unearthed, Mehrgarh's greatest legacy is its enduring mystery. Why did it rise so early, flourish so brilliantly, and then vanish into obscurity all before history began to be written in South Asia? Was Mehrgarh the blueprint for later civilizations, its echoes living on in bricks, beads, and beliefs across the subcontinent? Or is it just one of many lost worlds swept away by the tides of time, its wisdom forever beyond our reach? The disappearance of Mehrgarh stands as one of the most haunting riddles of prehistory, a silent reminder that even the greatest achievements can be erased, and that the roots of civilization are often deeper, stranger, and more fragile than we can imagine. From amidst the morning mist over the vast bay off Mumbai, an ancient rocky island gradually emerges, a place that conceals one of humanity's greatest enigmas. The Elephanta Caves are not merely stone chambers carved thousands of years ago, but a labyrinth of unanswered questions. Who were the creators of this wonder? How did they carve out such immense spaces, such magnificent divine statues using only their hands and primitive tools? Time wars and even earthquakes have cast a shadow over Elephanta Island's history, yet the remaining traces still leave modern scientists and visitors awestruck. Every step deeper into the mountain's heart, every chisel mark, every stone statue seems to whisper of a forgotten knowledge, a building technique far beyond the ordinary understanding of today. And even now, the Elephanta Caves remain a challenge, a mystery that humanity continues to seek answers for. What do you think is the greatest mystery behind the Elephanta Caves? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Elephanta Caves consists of two main groups of caves, the Hindu group and the Buddhist group, totaling 7 large and small caves. The most prominent is cave number 1, the Great Cave, with its depth, height, and expansive spaces, all carved entirely into basalt mountain rock. The large bas-reliefs depict Hindu myths, most notably various incarnations of the god Shiva, with the masterpiece Trimurti statue reaching up to 7 meters in height, a symbol for the entire site. Every detail from facial expressions, hair, clothing, to posture is depicted with extraordinary realism, exuding a sacred, powerful, yet deeply human aura. The spatial arrangement, from massive stone pillars, corridors, sanctuaries, to secondary passageways, reflects meticulous calculations in both structure and aesthetics. If one only observes the majestic exterior, it's hard to imagine the extraordinary challenges ancient artisans faced. All of the caves were directly carved into solid basalt, a hard stone extremely difficult to work with. With technical conditions more than 1,000 years ago, no modern machinery, no clear architectural blueprints, no electronic measuring devices. How could people create such large spaces, evenly spaced? Pillars, statues as high as 7 meters all, without errors, subsidence, or collapse. Colossal statues like the Trimurti were not assembled from parts, but are monolithic works, meaning any mistake in carving could not be fixed or patched. Just one wrong chisel blow, and the entire statue would be permanently ruined. Yet the artisans of old calculated every proportion and angle to perfection, ensuring absolute balance between geometric and aesthetic factors. The pillars in the Great Cave are all separated from the mother rock with nearly identical cross-sections and uniform heights, and their surfaces are finished to remarkable smoothness, demonstrating an extremely advanced skill in measurement and spatial visualization. What is even more mysterious is how they could precisely determine cutting points, symmetry axes, and parallel planes inside a dark stone block with no light, using only primitive tools like chisels, hammers, and oil lamps, all in conditions of low oxygen and thick stone dust. There is no record whatsoever of any special tools or advanced measurement methods having been used. Some hypotheses suggest that ancient people may have used angle transfer string, alignment proportion division based on ancient geometry, or even water to determine level planes, but all evidence remains unclear. The precision of the carvings makes many modern scientists question: did they possess lost knowledge of physics, mathematics, and measurement tools, or perhaps even access to a secret craft orally passed down that is now lost to humanity? Moreover, the large cave halls show no significant signs of subsidence, despite having endured centuries of earthquakes, floods, sea erosion, and even warfare. Many believe that the ancient artisans must have understood geological structures and load-bearing points very well, knowing how to distribute the weight of the stone, creating reasonable voids so the caves would not collapse under their own mass. Besides the main statues, Elephanta Caves contains numerous smaller details such as bas-reliefs, arches, and even secret niches hidden within the stone walls. Many of these niches are in places that are hard to reach, requiring extremely precise calculations regarding drilling, direction, depth, and angle. The consequence of any small error could be cracks or even destruction of the entire mother rock. Yet the artisans accomplished all this without leaving a trace of correction. In short, the construction technique of Elephanta Caves is a pinnacle of combined mathematical, geological, artistic, and spiritual thinking, a secret craft that continues to challenge all branches of modern science. No one knows exactly when Elephanta Caves were built, as there is no inscription, script, or date found directly at the site. Research is mostly based on comparing carving styles, scripts, and motifs with other contemporaneous relics. The most common theory is that the caves were built from the 5th to the 8th century during the Kalachuri or Rashtrakuta dynasties. However, controversy persists as some scholars note artistic features from various dynasties and suggest that construction and renovation may have spanned many centuries each generation, adding something new to the monument. The name Elephanta appeared when the Portuguese arrived in the 16th century and found a gigantic stone elephant statue at the island's entrance, which was later moved and broken. For Indians, the place was once known as Garapuri, meaning City of Caves. Elephanta Caves is testament to the interweaving of religion, philosophy, and art. Most bas-reliefs and divine statues bear profound philosophical significance. The three-faced Trimurti represents the three great powers of the Hindu universe: creation, Brahma, preservation, Vishnu, and destruction, Shiva. Scenes of Shiva in the Archaeological pose half male, half female, reflect the concept of unity between opposites, achieving cosmic harmony. The arrangement of shrines, auxiliary chambers, and hidden paths is meant to guide devotees through levels of enlightenment, ultimately reaching supreme truth as they venture deeper into the cave. Despite centuries of exploration and research, Elephanta Caves remains filled with unanswered questions. Why was the construction technique so superior for its era? How were blocks of stone weighing hundreds of tons moved and carved without modern machines? Some side caves remain unexplored, with secret niches and underground passages hidden beneath the stone, possibly containing relics or auxiliary structures yet to be revealed. Scholars also cannot explain why the statues follow a logical sequence from the outer chamber inward. It is a spiritual journey from the mundane to the enlightened, despite the absence of any blueprint or a single error in spatial arrangement. For many centuries, Elephanta Caves endured invasions, plundering wars, as well as the harsh forces of nature, salty winds, seawater humidity, earthquakes. Yet they remain standing in an almost miraculous way. Although many artworks have lost their heads, arms, or suffered severe damage, the overall beauty and enigma of the complex remain undiminished. The cracks and losses on the statues only increase the feeling that something very great is missing, as if part of the secret of the past has been lost forever. Elephanta Caves embodies the zenith of ancient art, spirituality, and science, where construction technology far surpasses imagination. Mysteries endure despite the ravages of time, and every carved detail poses a challenge to modern knowledge. Have we truly understood the capabilities of ancient humanity, or are there still secrets buried deep within the stone yet to be revealed? On the summit of a desolate limestone plateau in Crimea, beneath windswept skies and pale sunlight, Chufut Kale emerges like a strange apparition that has endured for millennia. Nicknamed the Stone City among the clouds, Chufut Kale is unlike anywhere else in the world. The entire city seems to grow out of the rock itself, with three sides bordered by sheer cliffs, and the only way in is a narrow path clinging to the sky. Stepping onto this land, everyone feels an ancient, mysterious atmosphere and a sense that they are entering another world. But what truly makes Chufut Kale unique is not just its scenery or architecture, it's the unanswered questions about its true origins. Who was the very first to build this strange city? Why did they choose a location that is nearly inaccessible for settlement? And for what reason did countless generations and different cultures pass through here yet leave no final explanation for its enigmatic past? What do you think about the mysterious origins of Chufut Kale? Could there be an ancient civilization unknown to history behind this site? Or is it the result of cultural blending and inheritance over many generations? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Chufut Kale stands on the peak of a limestone plateau at almost 400 meters above the surrounding valley, with three faces formed by vertical cliffs, and the last side accessible only by a single narrow path up the mountain. This treacherous location has earned Chufut Kale the reputation of being an impenetrable fortress, a place where outsiders unfamiliar with the terrain could hardly reach, and even invaders would hesitate. Seen from a distance, the whole city appears to blend into the rocky cliffs, merging with untamed nature. Because of this inaccessibility, the first big question emerges: why did ancient people choose such a place to live, where water, food, and every survival condition is many times harder than on fertile plains? Was there a special reason, perhaps military strategy, religious purpose, or some secret behind the birth of this city? What amazes people about Chufut Kale is not just its dangerous location, but the intricate system of caves, living spaces, storage rooms, temples, smithies, all carved deep into the rock and stretching across different levels. There are wide rooms, high ceilings long, and complex corridors, even ancient wells and underground drainage systems, all proving that the construction techniques of the ancients far exceeded common notions of their era. More remarkably, most of these structures use no mortar. The stone blocks are fitted together with uncanny precision, astonishing even modern visitors. It's as if those ancient hands blended with nature, making use of every rock fissure and cliff, ensuring both solidity and optimal use of space for living and defense. These remains show that Chufut Kale was once home to a populous community with its own social organization, architecture, and beliefs. But who were they? This is the greatest and most captivating question of Chufut Kale. Who and at what point in history built these rooms, corridors, and magnificent defense system? Archaeologists have found traces of habitation at Chufut Kale spanning thousands of years. Yet to this day, there is no definitive evidence identifying the city's very first inhabitants. Some believe Chufut Kale was established by the ancient Scythians in the 6th century BCE, when Crimea was a crossroads for nomadic tribes and Mediterranean civilizations. Many relics suggest it was once a military stronghold, but perhaps also a religious center or a refuge during chaotic time. Another hypothesis is that the Alans, a branch of the Sarmatians from the Eurasian steppes, were the first to build the cave structures here, gradually expanded and improved by later cultures. Some suggest the Khazars, a once powerful kingdom in what is now southern Russia, made Chufut Kale into a defensive stronghold and religious hub, as there are many artifacts marked by Khazar influence, especially those tied to Judaism. Yet all these hypotheses lack compelling evidence. Most of the artifacts found date from later periods, while the primordial layer of the city, the deepest, oldest constructions within the mountain, bear no clear signs of any known culture. This makes Chufut Kale even more enigmatic. Could it be even older than modern people imagine? Was it once a holy site, a fortress, or a seat of power for a vanished civilization? Some scholars speculate that the most ancient cave systems of Chufut Kale could date back thousands of years before the Common Era, belonging to a prehistoric civilization of the Black Sea region, a theory that remains unconfirmed but not impossible. The question of Chufut Kale's original builders becomes even more tangled when considering the diversity of cultures that have lived here through the centuries: Byzantines, Khazars, Tatars, Karaites, Muslims, notably the Karaite Jews. The community most closely linked to Chufut Kale only began settling here in the 14th century, when most of the major structures already existed. Thus, although they maintained, restored, and developed the city, the Karaites were not its first inhabitants, much less the creators of its oldest cave systems. Many mysteries linger. Who created those complex underground chambers and deep water-carrying corridors? Where did their building techniques come from, when carving stone in such a perilous place is far beyond the capabilities of early medieval societies in the region? If indeed this is the work of an unknown ancient civilization, how did they disappear, leaving behind only stone and shadows? Chufut Kale patiently keeps its secrets, challenging every effort at modern decoding. If we cannot pinpoint the first builders, it is undeniable that Chufut Kale was one of the greatest cultural crossroads in Crimea. Over the centuries, this stone city was home to a patchwork of peoples: Byzantines, Khazars, Tatars, Karaite, Jews, Muslims, and even ancient Christian communities. Remnants of churches, the Karaite Knesset prayer chambers, tombs, and even civic structures are still found throughout the caves. This diversity turns Chufut Kale into a living museum of religious and cultural mingling and survival skills among many civilizations. Yet for all their succession and legacy, none of these groups claims to be the very first to set foot atop this stony summit. Chufut Kale is not only mysterious in terms of archaeology, but also shrouded in countless legends, folktales, and even unconventional theories. Some legends claim it was once the hiding place of great treasures belonging to ancient kings or warriors. Others highlight its role as a mystical ceremonial center where special religious rites were conducted in prehistoric times. Still others suggest the cave system beneath the city connects to secret passages, perhaps even leading to underground water sources or undiscovered rooms. More modern theories emphasize Chufut Kale as a trading hub, a fortress guarding a crucial Crimean route, or simply a refuge for communities fleeing turmoil. Yet no matter the explanation, none can fill the biggest gap: the true origins of the first rooms, the first underground corridors, and the real reason why ancient people chose this place to realize their dreams. By the 19th century, Chufut Kale gradually became deserted as the Karaites and other communities abandoned it. The causes of this abandonment may lie in political changes, the weakening of local populations, or simply the harsh living conditions. Whatever the reason, the end of Chufut Kale only thickens the veil of mystery over the city, a fortress once impregnable and bustling with life, now fallen into ruin and emptiness, its distant past remembered by no one. Today, Chufut Kale captivates not only with its stone architecture and perilous location, but also with the unresolved mystery of its origins. Who were its first inhabitants? Why did they choose this place? And what do the deep traces within the mountain truly reveal? Chufut Kale stands as a riddle of history, quietly challenging every modern effort to explore and unravel its secrets. Nestled amid lush green fields and vast reservoirs in northern Sri Lanka, the ancient city of Polonnaruwa is not only a symbol of a glorious golden age, but also a repository of countless mysteries that archaeologists, engineers, and scholars have yet to fully unravel. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, Polonnaruwa served as Sri Lanka's second capital after Anuradhapura, reaching its zenith from the 11th to the 13th century. Under the Chola kings, and most notably King Parakramabahu I, this city rose to become a premier political, religious, and technological center in South Asia. Yet of all its surviving physical legacies, what has made Polonnaruwa world-famous is its remarkable hydraulic engineering, the system of sacred lakes and man-made dams crowned by the legendary Parakrama Samudra, the Sea of Parakrama. What do you think is the real secret behind Polonnaruwa's incredible hydraulic engineering and sacred lakes? Did the ancients possess knowledge or techniques we have yet to uncover? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Upon arriving in Polonnaruwa, visitors are immediately overwhelmed by the sight of sprawling artificial lakes so large that they seem like miniature seas. The most prominent of these is Parakrama Samudra, a vast reservoir whose name literally means Sea of Parakrama. Built in the 12th century, under the direction of King Parakramabahu, the first Parakrama Samudra is not merely a body of water, but a complex network of interconnected tanks, embankments, canals, sluices, regulating gates, and a host of auxiliary hydraulic works. The total water surface area extends across more than 2,500 hectares, with the capacity to store millions of cubic meters of water, ensuring irrigation for tens of thousands of hectares of rice fields and crops all year round. The true mystery lies here. With only the technology available in the 12th century, how did ancient people construct such colossal enduring reservoirs that remain effective even today? Embankments stretch for kilometers, reaching heights of up to 12 meters. Layered stone pavements, compacted clay stratified water barriers, and regulating gates all reveal an extremely advanced knowledge of hydrology, soil mechanics, construction materials, and even the art of controlling water flow and maintaining water quality. Not a single drop of water should flow to the ocean without serving humanity. This famous maxim, attributed to King Parakramabahu I, reflects the hydraulic philosophy of medieval Sri Lankan civilization. Water is the most precious resource and must be fully harnessed for the benefit of the people. However, this philosophy is but a small part of a grander tapestry of techniques and secret arts that elevated hydraulic engineering to an almost prophetic level. Parakrama Samudra was not an isolated tank. Rather, it was interconnected with dozens of smaller tanks such as Dumbutulu, Eramudu, and Kalahagala via a web of canals, ditches, and underground conduits, forming a closed-loop water regulation system. Even with annual fluctuations in rainfall, the residents of Polonnaruwa always had enough water for daily use and agriculture with minimal flooding or drought, a challenge that even many modern nations still struggle to master. One of the greatest secrets of Polonnaruwa's hydraulic system lies in the structure of its embankments and reservoir beds. Investigations by scientists have shown that Parakrama Samudra's embankments were not made of simple heaped earth and stones, but were built with multiple interleaved layers of materials. Large boulders, tightly compacted earth-fine gravel, alternating with layers of fine clay, and finally, a surface layer for erosion protection. Especially notable is that these clay layers acted as a seal, preventing seepage, an engineering challenge even for modern civil engineers, especially on such a large scale. Beyond this underground, sluices, stone water pipes, and regulating gates were strategically placed to control water levels, prevent dam breaches during heavy rains, and keep the tanks from drying out in the dry season. This control system operated entirely mechanically, without engines or metal parts, functioning stably thanks to intelligent design. Hydraulic experts today still admit that many operational details have yet to be fully deciphered. Not only were these works ingeniously built, but Polonnaruwa's hydraulic system has also endured for nearly 900 years, withstanding climate changes, earthquakes, and wars. Some dam segments still withstand major floods without significant erosion, even though they lack modern concrete reinforcement. This has led to theories that the ancients possessed special secrets regarding natural materials methods of curing earth, mixing clay and stone with natural additives to resist cracking, or techniques for earthquake-resistant foundation solutions that modern science has yet to fully replicate. In addition, there is much speculation about the esoteric arts for managing the sacred lakes. Were there rituals or water control techniques based on agricultural calendars, astronomy, or spiritual beliefs that have never been fully recorded? In Sri Lankan culture, Parakrama Samudra is more than just a reservoir. It is the center of the survival universe, the soul that safeguards the harvest, and the community's way of life. The triumph of Polonnaruwa's hydraulic system radiated across the island, influencing urban planning, temple design, housing, and palatial architecture. Residential quarters and shrines were always planned around lakes and tanks with a web of irrigation channels providing clean water and supporting rituals. Some researchers argue that thanks to its hydraulic prowess, Polonnaruwa sustained a large population, ensured food security, and fostered the flourishing of the arts, sciences, and religion beyond any previous era. Polonnaruwa, though renowned for its remarkable achievements in hydraulic engineering, still harbors countless unsolved mysteries. Among them, the legend of the seven-story palace stands out as a major enigma today. Only broken brick foundations and a few low walls remain, but many records recount that this site once housed a towering palace with hundreds of magnificent rooms, and to this day, no one has been able to determine its true appearance, construction techniques, or the reason for its collapse. In addition, the stone sculpture art at Gal Vihara continues to puzzle scholars. The Buddha statues there, with their serene faces and profound expressions carved in a style blending Indian and local elements, are believed to encode the spiritual philosophies and technical knowledge of an entire civilization. Yet the exact methods of deciphering them remain contentious. Not only that, hundreds of ancient stone slabs engraved with laws and historical events also feature coded carvings that historians have yet to fully translate. Some suggest these stones may conceal instructions for operating the hydraulic system or secrets of dam construction. But so far, all evidence remains very vague. Especially noteworthy is that even after more than a century of excavation and research, Polonnaruwa still has many forbidden areas or zones that have never been thoroughly investigated beneath the ground, there may still be hidden pipelines, water tunnels, or remnants of ancient hydraulic systems that no one has ever discovered. Polonnaruwa stands as a vivid testament to the creativity, technical mastery, and organizational genius of ancient Sri Lanka. The hydraulic system, with Parakrama Samudra at its mysterious heart, not only challenges modern engineers in terms of technique and materials, but also raises hundreds of questions about traditional knowledge, spiritual culture, and the secret arts of harmonizing nature and humanity. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Polonnaruwa lies not in what has already been uncovered above ground, but in what remains buried in the earth beneath the lakes and within ancient inscriptions awaiting decipherment. Anyone passionate about history, archaeology, water engineering, or technology will feel captivated standing before Parakrama Samudra, a place where every drop of water and every stone tells a story of eternal aspiration and mysteries that have never been closed. Among the treasures of intellectual heritage and mythology from ancient India, there is no symbol as mesmerizing and controversial as the Vimanas, the flying machines, mentioned in Sanskrit manuscripts, in the epics Mahabharata and Ramayana, as well as in countless legendary tales. More than mere vehicles for the gods, Vimanas have been at the center of over a century of debate regarding their scientific capabilities, advanced technology, and enigmas that remain unsolved to this day. What gives Vimanas their special allure is the technical descriptions, detailed structures, and operating mechanisms passed down in many ancient texts, far surpassing all known knowledge about aviation in ancient times. What do you think about the technical mystery of Vimanas? Are they merely myths or traces of a forgotten civilization? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The concept of Vimanas appears frequently in major epics such as the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and the Puranas. Each description reveals the image of machines that could soar into the sky, maneuver with agility, even cross oceans, or travel to other planets. Some passages depict Vimanas as flying palaces, capable of carrying dozens of people with separate compartments, control rooms, moving parts resembling wheels, or dynamic wings, and even weapons. Records often mention the thunderous roar as the Vimana takes off, dazzling beams of light or thick black smoke trailing behind, evoking the image of modern jet engines. Many researchers believe the image of Vimanas is not simply the product of imagination, but reflects the ancient Indians' aspirations to conquer the skies and understand the universe. Descriptions such as Vimana can fly into the high sky, cross rivers and seas, and return upon command, or bestowed by gods such as Indra or Brahma, seem to be both mythological in meaning and metaphorical for a lost technology. The greatest and most controversial mystery surrounding Vimanas lies within ancient manuscripts, such as the Vimanas, a work believed to be a treatise on the science of aeronautics. Although it only became public in the early 20th century and its origins remain widely debated, this text has captured the attention of researchers thanks to dozens of pages offering extremely detailed descriptions of how to construct, what materials to use, engine structure, energy systems, as well as the operational procedures and control mechanisms of these mysterious flying machines. Some passages specify the selection of heat-resistant materials, special types of alloys, mechanisms utilizing mercury and solar energy, combined with aerodynamics to generate thrust and maintain stable flight. There are even technical diagrams include detailing compartments such as the cockpit engine room and weapons chamber, along with the types of weapons supposedly equipped on Vimanas, like destructive light rays and lightning bolts, evoking modern technologies such as laser weaponry, electromagnetic waves, or even nuclear arms. Not confined to mere theory, many sections of the Vimanas as well as the epics Mahabharata and Ramayana, refer to operational principles far ahead of their time. Some records emphasize the use of mercury as the primary fuel operating in sealed tubes, in combination with solar energy, to create propulsion, a principle that brings to mind modern ion jet engines, although to this day there is no experimental evidence that such technology ever existed in antiquity. Furthermore, Vimanas are described as possessing anti-gravity capabilities, being able to change direction, instantly hover mid-air, or move at the will of the pilot, abilities that far surpass anything seen in traditional aircraft. In particular, some passages even suggest Vimanas could transcend space, traveling between planets or dimensions, conjuring images of space travel usually reserved for science fiction. Accounts regarding the construction materials only deepen the enigma. The Vimanas Shastra mentions types of metals that are super durable, highly heat-resistant, non-magnetic, and corrosion-proof characteristics that far exceed the known metallurgy of the Vedic era. Several passages describe special alloys like Tamagaba Loha and Somaka Loha, which could withstand immense pressure and were even said to be bulletproof. This leaves many modern researchers, upon analyzing the texts, to question whether these are simply the exaggerations of imagination or whether there truly once existed a foundation of advanced technology now lost to history. Particularly remarkable is the mention of cloaking mechanisms, sound suppression, and radar evasion features only achieved by 21st century aviation, yet appearing long ago in India's ancient records. Vimanas are depicted not only as vehicles, but also as machines of aerial warfare. Many texts, especially in the Mahabharata and Ramayana, describe in detail fierce aerial battles between Vimanas, employing light-ray weapons and bombs of devastating power that caused explosions as bright as thousands of suns melting the earth, vaporizing river water and wreaking unimaginable destruction, all unmistakably reminiscent of modern nuclear weaponry. Some bold theorists suggest that memories of high-tech warfare from prehistoric times have been mythologized in ancient Indian literature, and the records of Vimanas may in fact be the lingering evidence of a once glorious civilization possibly wiped out in an ancient nuclear catastrophe. Yet the greatest controversy is that almost all technical descriptions and diagrams of Vimanas exist solely in written form. No archaeological artifacts, physical models, or remains have ever been found to verify the existence of such extraordinary technologies. Many Western scholars consider texts like the Vimanas Shastra to be late inventions from the 20th century, perhaps created by drawing upon modern knowledge to further embellish ancient mythology. On the other hand, proponents of the ancient aliens theory or the idea of forgotten civilizations still believe that these descriptions are indirect evidence of technologies far beyond what ancient times are thought capable of. From the perspective of modern science, the majority of researchers agree that most descriptions of Vimanas are symbolic products of imagination and the deep-seated human desire to conquer the skies. Analyses of the Vimanas Shastra have shown that most of its technical concepts are illogical, impractical, and incompatible with the aerodynamic principles established by contemporary science. Yet there are still many questions left unanswered. Why would concepts such as engines, heat-resistant materials, and light-ray weaponry appear in an ancient agrarian society? Where is the boundary between legend and reality? And could there be knowledge that has truly been lost in the flow of human history? Vimanas are not only subjects of mythology, but also endless inspiration for movies, literature, comics, UFO theories, extraterrestrial life, and prehistoric technology. From Hollywood movies like Indiana Jones to comics, video games, and books on ancient mysteries, the image of India's mystical flying machines continues to haunt and stimulate curiosity about a forgotten past. In India, many modern engineers and scholars persist in trying to decode the Vimanas Shastra, attempting to recreate models based on ancient descriptions. Although without practical success, the spirit of inquiry burns on. Vimanas, the mythical flying machines of ancient India, will forever be one of humanity's greatest enigmas. Standing at the crossroads between legend and reality, between science and myth, Vimanas force us to ask, does history still hide chapters of great technology never discovered? Or are they merely reflections of humanity's extraordinary imagination? Whether true or legend, Vimanas have contributed to the legend of India, a civilization as ancient as it is incredibly modern in the minds of future generations. In the world of unsolved ancient mysteries, the Nuraghe towers, scattered across the island of Sardinia, Italy, have always amazed researchers, engineers, historians, and history enthusiasts alike. With thousands of stone structures that are not only resilient, but also unique in shape and construction method, Nuraghe are considered symbols of a lost civilization, the Nuragic civilization. But above all, what makes these structures so particularly enigmatic is their superior construction techniques, which far surpass our conventional understanding of the capabilities of Bronze Age humans. Even today, many big questions remain unanswered. How did ancient people build these stone towers? What technology did they use? How did they transport stone blocks, weighing several tons without mortar? And why have the Nuraghe towers remained so durable for thousands of years? What do you think about Nuraghe construction techniques? Did the Nuragic people have some secret knowledge ahead of their time? Share your thoughts below. The first thing that makes the Nuraghe stand out is their enormous number. More than 7,000 large and small towers have been discovered across the island, and many believe that even more remain unexcavated underground or have been destroyed by time. Unlike other ancient stone structures, which often concentrate in one area or exist as isolated highlights, the Nuraghe system stretches like milestones from hilltops to lowlands, from remote areas to near town centers. Each Nuraghe varies in scale, from solitary towers ranging from 5 to over 20 meters high to massive Nuraghe fortresses with multiple connected towers, solid enclosing walls, inner courtyards, rooms, secret passages, and underground chambers. This is the core and greatest mystery of the Nuraghe. Each typical Nuraghe is a nearly circular stone tower built entirely by dry stone stacking, without any mortar, from extremely hard basalt trachyte or granite blocks quarried directly from the island and then painstakingly hewn into large and small stones by hand. The largest stones can weigh up to several tons, stacked into concentric circular layers, each layer narrowing as it rises, forming the Nuraghe's distinctive truncated conical silhouette. What is astonishing is that the entire mass of the tower uses absolutely no mortar or binding agents of any kind. Thanks to sheer weight, the dovetail-shaped stones wedged in at an angle fitted tightly to create both horizontal and vertical locking pressure, and the builder's extraordinarily precise arrangement skills, these structures remain as solid as bedrock, having withstood thousands of years of wind, rain, earthquakes, and even warfare, still standing firm in the natural landscape. Inside the Nuraghe towers lies a system of rooms, spiral staircases, narrow corridors, and ventilation shafts. Notably, the central chamber of each tower usually features a stone dome constructed by the corbelling method, meaning layers of stones are stacked with each layer jutting inward slightly until they meet at the top, forming a dome or pointed cap without the need for support beams, wooden frames, or metal. The entire structure relies solely on the weight of the stones, an ingenious force distribution, turning every dome into an achievement far ahead of its time. This has left archaeologists and modern engineers in awe, for most stone structures from the same era in Europe or the Middle East, the 18th to 17th centuries BC, never reached such heights in scale, verticality, or complexity of interior space. More impressively, in many of the larger Nuraghe, the stones are hewn with incredible precision, with contact surfaces between blocks so close that not even a sheet of paper can pass through. In some cases, there are even traces of polished surfaces and interlocking grooves, raising the profound question of what kinds of tools, skills, or crafting methods the Nuraghic people employed. Did they use stone hammers, bronze tools, or possess some advanced techniques that we have yet to discover? In addition, the logistics of transporting and assembling these multi-ton stones and raising them over 20 meters high remains unsolved. Some theories propose that the ancients used rollers, pulleys, ramps, and mobilized human and animal strength, yet in reality, there is no surviving material evidence of such tools at Nuraghe sites. One cannot rule out the possibility that secret building skills or now lost construction methods once existed, which causes modern researchers to recall debates surrounding the Egyptian pyramids, the massive stone blocks of Sacsayhuaman in Peru, or Stonehenge in England. Perhaps most remarkable of all is the Nuraghe's longevity. Despite Sardinia enduring many powerful earthquakes, many Nuraghe have stood strong through 3,000 years of history. Some modern engineers suggest that it is the unmortared stone stacking method, along with the elasticity and force distribution of each stone when shaken, that helps these structures resist collapse. But why ancient builders were able to harness these properties so perfectly remains a great question, adding even more to the mystery of these stone towers. If we place the Nuraghe alongside contemporary stone architecture in the Mediterranean, such as the Egyptian pyramids, Malta's stone temples, the Mycenaean fortresses, or Stonehenge, Nuraghe stand out for their island-wide scale, immense quantity, and durability, despite using no binding material whatsoever. Furthermore, features like domed roofs, spiral corridors, and ventilation systems demonstrate a level of spatial reasoning and technical expertise unmatched by any other contemporaneous structure. In addition to traditional theories proposing that Nuraghe are the result of hundreds of years of accumulated craft experience, there are also ideas that the Nuraghic people learned by observing how rocks naturally tumble and stack in the mountains, then applied this knowledge to construction. Some fringe theorists even claim these are the work of a lost civilization or involve supernatural or extraterrestrial elements, echoing the debates around the world's other enigmatic stone structures. Even today, archaeologists have not discovered any specialized tools, architectural plans, or technical descriptions directly related to Nuraghe construction. All understanding is based on surveys of ruins and hypothetical reconstructions, leaving the question of large-scale dry stone construction technology among the Nuraghic people as one of the greatest mysteries in human history. Even with miraculous construction, heated debate continues over the Nuraghe's intended purpose. Some appear to be defensive fortresses, others bear religious, ceremonial, or community center marks. Some even theorize ancient observatories based on entrance or window orientation, matching the sun's movement or prominent constellations. The discovery of ritual objects, small bronze figurines, weapons, helmets, masks, etc. At some, Nuraghe further thickens the veil of mystery around their true function. Notably, there are no written records, legends, or symbols left by the Nuraghic people about themselves. Everything we know comes from archaeology reconstructions and studying Nuraghe structures and nearby artifacts. When this civilization disappeared, all their techniques, legends, and ways of life vanished, leaving only stone towers standing as huge question marks in the heart of the Mediterranean. Many Nuraghe are built in strategic locations, on hilltops, near water sources, or at ancient trade route intersections. Some are close to copper or silver mines, showing that the Nuraghic people were skilled at resource extraction and controlled the economic and social life of their era. Today, Nuraghe are indispensable symbols of Sardinia, recognized as UNESCO World Heritage, and are attractive destinations for tourists and researchers worldwide. Yet after hundreds of years of study, The great mysteries of construction techniques, purpose, origin, and the fate of the Nuraghic civilization remain unsolved, even attracting more debate and bold theories over time. Looking back at the Nuraghe system on the island of Sardinia, we see not just ancient stones stacked together, but also the creativity and advanced engineering of the Nuraghic people. These towers are proof of the intelligence, perseverance, and mysteries of a lost civilization. Their large-scale, dry, stone construction durability over thousands of years and clever interior layouts continue to puzzle modern researchers. Each Nuraghe is a challenge forcing us to rethink the abilities of ancient people and to ask, have we truly understood our past, or are the greatest secrets still hidden within these stone? In the heart of the Mediterranean, on the sun-drenched island of Santorini, there exists an ancient city where every stone and every wall holds unsolved mysteries. Akrotiri is not merely a ruin buried beneath meters of volcanic ash, but a living record of a civilization that once reached the pinnacle of construction, social organization, and urban management. As each layer of ash is removed, the world is confronted with a question that has no easy answer. How 4,000 years ago were people able to create a city so advanced that it surpasses many of today's standards? In Akrotiri, the traces of intellect, creativity, and the longing to conquer nature still echo among the ancient remains, challenging every framework that modern science has ever known. What do you think is the greatest mystery of Akrotiri? Did ancient people truly achieve an advanced level of construction? Or are there still secrets waiting to be uncovered? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Akrotiri was once a bustling urban center, flourishing around the 17th century BCE at the zenith of the Aegean civilization. The eruption of Thera Santorini produced one of the most devastating natural disasters in human history, burying the city under thick ash and creating a miraculous preservation effect for everything left behind, from walls and tall buildings to everyday items, murals, and even traces of incredibly complex underground structures. Unlike Pompeii, Akrotiri left no fossilized human remains in the disaster. This has given rise to the theory that its inhabitants were able to detect early warning signs and evacuate in time. However, what they left behind is what truly earns the admiration of the modern world. From the earliest days of excavation, Akrotiri overwhelmed researchers with its scale and organizational sophistication. These were not simple huts, but a city with a multitude of multi-story houses, 2, 3, even traces of 4 stories each, with its own function, internal staircases, bedrooms, living rooms, storage areas, and even zones reserved for religious rituals. Especially noteworthy, many buildings feature balconies facing wide paved streets, creating a lively and developed urban space. The main construction materials were basalt, volcanic pumice, and unfired bricks bound by mortar, combined with wood and other organic materials. This smart combination not only made the structures sturdy, but also enabled them to withstand frequent seismic shocks in the volcanic region of Santorini. Even Akrotiri's retaining walls and ceilings reveal a profound understanding of structural engineering, horizontal wooden beams for load-bearing small domed roofs supporting alcoves. All appear to be designed to optimize shock resistance and prevent cascading collapse, a knowledge that humanity would only rediscover many centuries later. The brightest highlight of Akrotiri's architecture is undoubtedly the water supply and sanitation system, terracotta pipes designed for two-way flow, one for fresh water, one for wastewater, operating entirely on gravity and natural water pressure. Archaeologists have uncovered many pipelines running along the walls, under floors, leading water to bathrooms, wash basins, and even flushing toilets. This proves an exceptional level of understanding in fluid dynamics and urban management. Some pipelines even show evidence of carrying hot water, possibly sourced from natural geothermal springs around the island, making Akrotiri one of the world's first cities to have a separate hot and cold water system. In theory, this technology would not reappear in Europe for nearly 3,000 years. The craftsmanship of these pipes, the sealing of joints, and the guidance of water flow without leakage or damaging surrounding structures all reveal advanced knowledge of materials and pressure. Many researchers still cannot explain how a civilization nearly 4,000 years ago could create such a synchronized, durable system. The main streets of Akrotiri ran parallel, intersecting at small squares, facilitating convenient traffic and logical flows of people and goods. This system even created small dams to control rainwater, reducing the risk of floods and erosion. Some scholars believe that Akrotiri's urban design shows an exceptionally high level of disaster prediction and prevention, from building houses on high ground to arranging underground drains, reserve systems, and protective city walls. Large structures, such as granaries or wine cellars, were always located in strategic places for easy safeguarding during disasters. Besides residential houses, Akrotiri also revealed buildings with community functions, workshops, storages, ceremonial spaces, meeting rooms. Notably, conference rooms or large gathering spaces were built with massive, tightly joined stone slabs, domed roofs, and walls adorned with intricate frescoes, construction, and decorative techniques that still baffle modern engineers. Many structures have a central fire pit, remnants of a central heating system similar to the Roman hypocaust, but predating it by several millennia. The system of windows, ventilation slots, the methods for channeling light and air were all optimized to provide a comfortable living environment year-round, even amidst the harsh climate of Santorini. Another distinctive feature of Akrotiri's architecture is that art was harmoniously integrated into construction. Walls, ceilings, staircases were all covered in vibrant frescoes using natural materials that still retain their brilliance after nearly 4,000 years. These artworks served not only as decoration, but also as a protective layer for the walls against moisture and erosion, while asserting the owner's status and class. This combination of art and engineering proves a holistic thinking about living space that many later civilizations would strive to emulate. Motifs, patterns of waves, birds, dolphins, ships were not merely decorative, but also reflected a close bond with the sea nature and local beliefs. Some researchers have even discovered primitive astronomical maps painted on walls, doors, corridors, a coded form of ancient knowledge that may have helped Akrotiri's people determine seasons, festivals, migration, or disaster preparedness. All these achievements raise a series of unanswered questions. Who designed, built, and transmitted this knowledge to the people of Akrotiri? No ancient texts remain. It is still unclear whether Akrotiri is a direct descendant of the Minoan Cycladic or a completely unique civilization with its own source of knowledge. Did Akrotiri's architecture borrow, or was it influenced by somewhere else? Many details resemble Egyptian, Cretan, or ancient Near Eastern styles, but still show remarkable innovations. Some techniques only reappear in Greece or Rome centuries later. How did they coordinate such large-scale planning and construction without today's modern tools, stone joints, columns, supporting arches? All require precise calculations of ratios, weight-pressure balance things. Modern science also needs simulation software to predict. What is the origin of the underground works pipelines? Earthquake-resistant systems. Where did this knowledge come from? Some experts consider Akrotiri one of the cradles of humanity's technical revolution, possibly a hub of international knowledge exchange in ancient times. The volcanic disaster suddenly froze all city activities, turning Akrotiri into a time machine that perfectly preserves ancient construction secrets. Once the thick ash covered everything, air bacteria and insects were completely blocked, so even the smallest details remained almost intact. No human remains, no traces of panic. Perhaps advanced construction knowledge and social organization helped Akrotiri's people recognize danger early and organize systematic evacuation. Traces of abandoned belongings, unfinished food stores, and wine cellars show the disaster came very close, but not enough to erase all the technical achievements of this civilization. Akrotiri is not only an ancient city buried in time, but also a source of inspiration for countless theories about Atlantis, the lost civilization in Plato's legend. Its extraordinary technical prowess, diversity in art, international trade, and sudden fate due to a natural disaster all fit the description of Atlantis. Trade connections with Egypt, Crete, the ancient Near East, evidenced by materials pottery, gold and silver found at Akrotiri, show that this place was once a center of international trade, where knowledge and techniques gathered and spread throughout the Mediterranean. Over 4,000 years have passed, yet Akrotiri still stands as proof of human creativity, without limits in construction, architecture, and urban management. The lessons about harmony between nature, technology, and art, about disaster prediction and prevention, about solidarity and collective coordination, continue to earn admiration from later generations. Even though mysteries about Akrotiri's origins, techniques, and social structure remain, the city is still a silent teacher, sending an eternal message. Knowledge, creativity, and thorough preparation are the keys for humanity to survive even the harshest challenges of nature and history. If there is any discovery powerful enough to shake the very foundations of humanity's evolutionary history, then the Meister print is certainly one of them. In the remote Antelope Springs region of Utah, among arid deserts strewn with ancient sedimentary rocks, a non-professional fossil collector named William J. Meister unintentionally sparked an endless debate lasting more than half a century. Could there have been creatures resembling modern humans existing hundreds of millions of years ago, at a time when even vertebrates had yet to evolve? What do you think about this discovery? Is the Meister print truly the footprint of an ancient human-like being, or just a coincidence of nature? Share your thoughts in the comments below. On a day in June of the year 1968, Meister and his family arrived at Antelope Springs to search for fossils. They found many fossils of ancient marine creatures, especially trilobites, a type of creature that lived only during the Cambrian period more than 500 million years ago. While splitting a slab of shale, Meister was astonished to see a strange mark, an impression pressed into stone nearly the length of a modern adult's shoe. Most notable of all, beneath the layer of rock, right inside this footprint, were the fossils of 2 trilobites. That means if this imprint is real, someone or something stepped on marine creatures that went extinct a very long time ago, then all were buried and fossilized over hundreds of millions of years of history. The mark on the stone slab closely resembled the sole of a modern flat-soled shoe, about 32 centimeters long, 11 centimeters wide, with a distinctly deeper heel, just like the way a real person presses their heel into soft earth. The toe and heel both showed corresponding depressions, making the imprint seem almost alive and much more convincing than any random shapes made by nature. The symmetry of the print, especially the depth at the heel, is a detail that convinces many this is no mere joke by nature. The height of the controversy lies in the fact that the trilobite fossils are found right within the sunken part of the print. An ancient marine creature, extinct for hundreds of millions of years, is crushed by an object shaped like a product of modern humanity, a concept that scientific reasoning can barely accept. Based on the shale layer containing the mark, geological experts determine that this rock slab dates to the Cambrian period around 500 to 600 million years ago. At that time, Earth had only the simplest life forms like bacteria, algae, and invertebrate marine animals. The first vertebrates had not yet appeared. Humans or any creature capable of making shoes would not come into existence until hundreds of millions of years later, according to modern evolutionary theory. The presence of a shoe-shaped mark in such ancient rock not only shatters every timeline of evolution, but also raises countless questions about scientific understanding and even about humanity's true origins. If we assume the footprint is real, we must entertain extreme hypotheses. Could there have been a species or being with a human-like form, with feet even capable of making complex footwear that existed hundreds of millions of years ago, then vanished without leaving any trace, except this single print? Might there have been a super-advanced ancient civilization that developed, explored, and even affected life during the Cambrian, only to suddenly disappear completely from the timeline of history? Even disregarding the idea of ancient humans, the technical formation of this print is extraordinary. To create a shoe-like impression on Cambrian shale, the object stepping down would need to exert enough pressure to indent the then soft stone while crushing creatures like trilobites underneath. Afterward, a process of burial and compression, spanning hundreds of millions of years, would need to fossilize the entire rock without destroying the structure of the imprint. This is a chain of events nearly impossible under normal geological rules. Skeptical scientists argue this is merely pareidolia. The human brain sees familiar shapes in natural marks or random cracks in stone, are colored in by imagination. They also suggest that processes like compression, tectonic movement, and mineralization over millions of years could create unusual indentations that coincidentally resemble a human footprint, much like seeing a face on Mars or animal shapes in clouds. However, the coincidences of shape size, heel depth, and especially the presence of trilobite fossils underneath leave these rebuttals far from conclusive. Many have doubted whether the Meister print could be the product of a hoax or staging. Yet initial examinations, although not performed by major scientific councils, concluded that the rock was a solid uncut slab with trilobite fossils intact inside and all marks penetrating through multiple sedimentary layers. To this day, the specimen itself is not publicly displayed, adding further debate over its authenticity and transparency. If the shoe print is real, every foundation of evolutionary history, human origins, and the development of civilization on Earth would need to be rewritten from scratch. The questions become: who left the print? Where did they come from? For what purpose? And why did they vanish? This event has spawned countless theories, from time travel and extraterrestrials to the destruction of Atlantis. Meister print is frequently cited in parts materials and philosophical debates about hidden knowledge or lost human epochs. To this day, the scientific community has not reached any consensus on the Meister print phenomenon. Each independent investigation leads to different theories, while the original slab has been lost or survives only in photographs, making the quest for the truth ever more difficult. Skeptics consider it simply a product of nature and imagination, while believers in prehistoric civilizations see it as irrefutable evidence that our human history still hides many burned or deliberately concealed chapters. The Meister print is a prime example of the limitations of human knowledge and the explanatory power of modern science when faced with out-of-place mysteries. Even if there may never be a final answer, this discovery still plays a crucial role in challenging dogmatic thinking, inspiring the urge to explore, and keeping the spirit of scientific skepticism alive. The Meister print is not just a stone slab with a footprint, but a crack in the timeline of history, forcing humanity to ask, have we truly understood our own past? Or are there countless mysteries still buried waiting to be decoded? What do you think about this phenomenon? Is it truly the trace of ancient people, a product of nature, or a trick of creation itself? Share your thoughts and join the discussion on this unresolved mystery.